Oh, man, I love the game of golf. It was a beautiful day out here today, wasn't it, baby girl? You didn't think it was a nice day today?
Well, I am sweating all over, so no, I didn't really think it was.
Well, I mean, you got to drive the car. You got to drive the car, and it did have the hood on it, so it kept the sun off of you.
Yeah, but it had no air conditioning.
Well, okay, fair enough. So, we're going to get something to eat, right?
Of course.
Cool.
And you're obviously paying, right?
Always. Always. Man, golf is a fun sport. Hey, I drove the ball pretty well today, don't you think?
Pretty well to the far right, yeah.
But, okay, even though I went right, my iron game was really good, and I was able to fight my way out of that.
Yeah, but you hit it into the sand, and you did that quite often, might I add.
Even when I went in the sand, my chip was really tight, so I was able to get out of there and get close to the flag.
After 3 times.
You have to admit, though, my putting game was really good, and it saved me a lot of the times from all of the bad hits I had out in the fairway.
And it only took you 11 holes. Listen, until you get a good golfing game, I'm going to keep giving you shit.
I'm improving. I mean, since I've gotten started, haven't I got a lot better?
Yes, you've gotten better since your injury.
We don't have to talk about my shoulder, but I mean, that's another reason why it's coming along slowly, but, you know, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Sure.
Hey, baby girl, I'm about to go hop in the shower. When I get out, we head out to the volleyball tournament, okay?
Okay. Oh, can I use my the computer?
Oh, yeah, of course, baby. Of course. Hey, baby girl.
Yeah.
Repetition breeds familiarity.
Familiarity breeds comfort. Comfort breeds complacency or success. We're going for the latter rather than the former.
All right, good deal. Handle business.
Okay.
Hey, remember you're a beast out there. Act like it.
I will.
All right.
Let me see what he got in these emails. Spam. Overdue bills. Not surprised. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. Young nigga got it bad 'cause he's broke. What is this? Sarah? Linda? Becky? Amber? Amy? Molly? Ginger? Heather? Karen? Oh, hell no. We are not having this. No, I don't want no Pancake Tuesdays. Oh God, delete. No, I do not want your lemon bars, Karen. Ooh, my dad's gonna get...
Do you have strong opinions and you're looking for a way to express them? Are you tired of carbon copy sports radio that infests the airwaves? Do you have creative concepts and ideas that you want to share with the world? Then this is not the commercial for you. This commercial is all about
Kinko's University.
That's right. Kinko's University gets you prepared for the podcasting world when you don't have the chops for it. If you're one of the many people looking to get into podcasting, but you just don't have the skill, Kinko's University is the university for you.
I want to do a podcast, but where do I start? And what do I talk about? Kinko's University.
Don't worry. Here at Kinko's University, the first thing we teach you about is OPP. That's right. Other people's perspective. So you can always have something to talk about getting it from another source.
Podcasting looks fun, but do I really have to do all that research and show prep? Kinko's University.
Absolutely not. Here at Kinko's, we have classes like No Preparation 101, where we teach you to get around all of that pesky show prep because we know you don't have the time.
I wonder what the best time slot is to get the most listeners. Kinko's University.
Don't worry. Here at Kinko's, we have a class called Recycling Ideas 101, where you can find a time slot that works and just jump in that slot to try to make it happen for yourself.
Kinko's University. I want to come up with new content and subject matter, but I'm not that creative. Kinko's University.
You'll also take Regurgitation 101, which will help you come up with other people's subject matter that you can recycle and make your own. That's right, here at Kinko's, we teach you how to get around hard work, getting new wrinkles in your brain, and having to work hard at your craft. Come to Kinko's, where you can take these top courses with top teachers. Most people that go to Kinko's graduate with Kinko's degrees, that's right, as master copiers. Kinko's University, for the skilled impaired.
Kinko's University is not a real university and is not accredited. You don't actually learn any skills. You just learn how to mimic people who have actual skill.
Underground Railroad Show with that ninja. All aboard, have your tickets ready because the train has arrived. Delayed or on time, it's time to get on board.
What's going on, fam? This is the Underground Railroad Show, hosted by your boy, that ninja. Thank you for coming aboard, and I hope you are enjoying the ride thus far. It is a Militant Monday, although I am still flying solo. I didn't run the normal pre-show Militant Monday run, not until I get Light Skywalker back on air. Have to work on getting Light Skywalker back on air. But thank y'all for coming aboard and rolling with me. Truly appreciate it. As I've talked about many a time, I enjoy this time of year. And hold on a second. Let me do a little. Okay. Doing a little double check, doing a little sound check because I still don't believe fully in this format yet. Okay, we're decent. We're decent. All right, thank y'all for coming aboard and rolling with me. Truly appreciate it. Let's get into it. The title of today's show is Scouting Report. Title of today's show is Scouting Report. And I'll clarify on what I mean about that in 1 second. But before I do that, what I'd like to say is that I always enjoy this time of year. And again, let me do a reset on the show. There are always new people dropping in because of this new format that I'm still breaking in and getting used to. So the purpose of the show is I just was basically disgusted with what I was getting out of sports radio. So for me, sports radio in the mainstream just didn't cover sports. It was all about agendas and storylines. And when podcasting became a little more popular, personally, I was just disappointed in the lack of originality, original thought. Everybody was essentially a carbon copy of whatever the mainstream was doing. And that was a little disappointing. So I just decided to do one just based on sports, really. I'm more of an X and O guy. I'm not necessarily a side story type of cat, not a gossip cat. The main story of the day generally is not going to be on my radar necessarily. And if it is on my radar, it's not going to be the normal take on it. With that being said, the purpose of the show for me is just to try to dispel misinformation, which I believe is our biggest obstacle. Misinformation is the reason. It's misinformation, lack of communication. But due to misinformation, it essentially bogs down the conversation with a lot of things that could be thrown to the side if people were just informed. So I just attempt to dispel misinformation. And one way I attempt to do that is basing everything that I talk about in some form of fact or something that I can base it on, a reference point that I can go to actually lend credibility to what I'm saying. So that's the purpose of doing the show, talking about sports, side topics. And right now with football season being over, a lot of people call this the dog days of summer. For me, it's a good time of year for me. I like to just do different things. Today is going to be one of those days. I'm going to get into perception versus reality, which I haven't done. Just still kind of making sure I was good audio wise. Otherwise, none of it mattered. So before I get into that, just clarifying for new listeners and just kind of setting the show up. Coming up, I have the annual show on religion. That's going to be the day after Easter, which is, I'll clarify on that later, but we're going to have that coming up. We have the annual draft show. Started out with, I think maybe it was just myself. I think it might have been me and Jungle Brother from the beginning. And now myself and ABM do it, Light Skywalker. So perhaps we won't see him back on there. It such appears to be the case. I haven't really grilled him on it or anything like that. Slow down, T. I haven't really grilled him on it or anything like that or discussed it with him. But obviously, it's not a priority for him right now. But the first day of the draft on Thursday, I will have Light Skywalker on air where we get into draft and we give our takes. We put on our GM hats, like literally. We don't watch the shows and say, okay, they think you're going to take him. We look at the teams, we look at what we think they need, and we tell you what we would do if we ran the team. Completely void of any mainstream thoughts. And sometimes we hit, sometimes we don't. We also throw in what we think they're going to do, and we'll talk about whether we think it's a mistake or not. But it was probably, this is my 10th year. Probably started doing that, I don't know, 7. I guess this is the 8th time. This is the 8th. I think at least the 8th time we've done this. Maybe the 7th, but we've done the show the first day of the draft for the last 7, 8 years. It's usually fun because we're watching it anyway, so I just figured I might as well fire up the show and have a live reaction. So that's always fun with me being a football nut. Point being, there's always something to do. I like to be creative around this time of year, and today is no exception to that. Not necessarily creative, but it just gives me time to talk about different things. Because once football season starts, and again, I still have more football stories to get into, end of the year reviews I haven't gotten to. Shout out to everybody on the last show, nice old school show where we kind of drifted off and spoke about random. We got off into random conversations. Oh, something else also before I get into the bulk of it. I noticed that some people are on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, come over to Twitch and get in the chat room there. That's the main chat room that we're in. Sometimes I've noticed that people will, be on Facebook and they'll throw comments in, and I won't notice those till after the show. Also, I do a better job of checking that during the show as well, but generally speaking, just letting you know the main chat room that we talk in is on Twitch. Once again, thank you for coming aboard. What I would like to get into today, title of the show is Scouting Report. And when I'm speaking about the scouting report, I'm speaking about the scouting report for the political season. In sports, you always have a scouting report. Even in high school sports, we had a scouting report on the teams that we were getting ready to play. Otherwise, you could run into anything. You don't know what the offense is. You have the ability to scout them and check out their tendencies of their running team or their passing team. What do they have on defense? What defense do they run? These are the things you get to see when you do a scouting report. They give you some idea of what you're about to step into to give you an advantage or at least a fighting chance in the fight or the event that you're in. So a scouting report is necessary to be successful. And a scouting report doesn't start the year of the vote. It doesn't start a couple of years out. It starts the minute the election is over. So I'd like to discuss the scouting report needed. And before I start the segment, personally, I think this is very much a game in the sense of the way the Democrats and the Republicans operate, in my humble opinion. It is pretty much a political game. There's not really an effort or a desire to actually bring about change. It's more or less just a game to keep you amused and make you think you're part of the process. But let's discuss this like we're going to use this process like it's valid. Let's discuss this and do it at face value. And I just like to do a scouting report on what's necessary to be successful in the next political season. With that being said, I like to talk about that and dig into it a little bit more and a little something that I like to call perception versus reality. In today's perception versus reality, I'd like to discuss the scouting report. Again, a scouting report is crucial to be well prepared in a situation. It is not necessarily the end all be all, but it definitely helps and aids in your preparation for your opponent. If you have a scouting report on them, you know their tendencies, you know what they like to do. Your job and your goal and what you're going to attempt to do is make that uncomfortable for them. You're going to attempt to make that uncomfortable. Whatever it is they like to do, I want to get you out of that. I want to take you away from what makes you comfortable. So that's what you're looking to do so you can gain some type of advantage. With that being said, from strictly from observation, and it's a very passionate and very serious thing in the political season, just when it gets kind of close and you see social media light up and conversations amongst family members and friends and whatnot. Some of these conversations, cause me to wonder how much attention people pay. But if we're going to depend on this and use this tool, we have to do a scouting report just to be successful, because what I heard in the last season was that nothing was more important than not having -45. Nothing was more important than that. Now -47, -92 if you want to go that route. So let's talk about the scouting report for the next political season in order for the Democrats to be successful. For the people that are very passionate about that and feel that they can be achieved through the political process. So let's speak about it in that manner. First issue on the scouting report for me: find a suitable white male candidate. Some people may be saying,
"You must be on something."
Let me repeat: find a suitable white male candidate. And as always, let's clarify as to why. Your goal is to win the election. So if your goal is to win the election, one of the first things in the scouting report is finding a suitable candidate. Because at no point during this last political season and during the first attempt when it was Hillary, I was saying it, but I had the same thought, and I'll say it then and I'll say it now. Why are you running a woman in this country as if everybody has morals or everybody is level-headed or everybody thinks the same? I think you were delusional about reality if you thought a woman had a fair chance in this country. It has nothing to do with her and being qualified, but it has everything to do with the people that have to vote for. And I think if you have more than surface conversations, you would understand that was not on the agenda of most people of a lighter hue. And if you deal with a lot of people that came to this country from other places, you would know that they're 1,000% not going to do it. For the most part. There are always exceptions to the rules, but it was never a good idea to run a woman. So that's why I say the first thing you need to do is find a suitable white male candidate, because the point of it is to win. If nothing matters, or if the most important thing is to win, if this is the worst person on the planet, then why are you crippling yourself by not only running a woman, you're running a black woman, and you're doing it at the last minute, expecting people to vote on morality and common sense and whether or not the person's qualified. On the scouting report as well is take a real look at the situation, a realistic look, not through rose-colored glasses in the country you'd like this place to be, where you actually are. Don't close your eyes.
Motherfucker.
Be realistic and ask yourself, do I have a better chance trying to force a candidate they don't want, or giving them somebody that they at least believe they can relate to? These individuals were looking for somebody to vote for. Some of them, well, a lot of them wanted to vote for them, but there was a section that you might have had an opportunity with if you would have given them somebody that they felt was viable. And if you do your scouting report, you realize that they didn't think Ms. Harris was viable. And once again, let's be intelligent. I'm not talking about her qualifications. I'm talking about the psychopaths we live with. And there are a lot of them. Remember the Capitol? They can be as quiet as they want to about it. Nothing more ignorant and pathetic than that.
You must be on something.
Just as a side note, losing an election, throwing a tantrum, and acting as if something's happening to you in this country, to the January 6th participants that got a slap on the wrist and sympathy from the majority of the lighter hue, as well as sympathetic coverage from the media, the majority of which is the lighter hue. Funny how that works. But just a reminder.
In America, if you're a capable white man and you can't make something happen, that's on you.
Calm down. Trying to run somebody just to prove a point is counterproductive. So again, if the agenda is to win, first thing, find a suitable white male candidate, because you're going to need that to turn the votes that are necessary. So do the scouting report, and it's not necessarily on your opponent. You have to scout your opponent, but scout the people you need the vote from. And if you do, you would have realized that from the beginning, that was a terrible political strategy, and I never heard anybody say that. Secondly, find out what the lighter hues issues are and find common ground. When I say this, these are the votes you need to turn. First thing, do the scouting report on them and understand you need a viable white male candidate. Start grooming this individual now. Slowly but surely, put them out there. Get this individual prepared for the barrage of questions. Try to scrub his record. Pay off the people you need to pay off. Get rid of that time he wore blackface or whatever the fuck you need to do. But start to get the individual ready. But for the love of God, if you're actually trying to win the election, don't run somebody you know these people are not going to vote for. This is a political game. Play the game. Right now, and this is the Underground Railroad Show, hosted by your boy that Ninja. I was having a conversation with my best friend, and this is somewhat along the lines of it. We were just talking about the opportunity and the opening that's available right now. A large amount of the lighter hue are very upset with the Republicans and negative 47. Now, again, they voted for him, so. Yeah.
Stupid as a stupid does.
Stupid as stupid doesn't. Stupid as stupid does, sir.
Even though you voted for him, okay, they're upset now. But point being, let's just stay where we're at. Even though they voted for him.
In America, if you're a capable white man and you can't make something happen, that's on you.
Now, despite all of that, there's an opening. They're upset. They're finally realizing that we weren't actually paying attention to the issues. We were just feeling really warm and fuzzy about all of the subtle hints, and we were just feeling really happy about him acting like our ancestors who we admire so much, because there was nothing else. There was nothing else. He ran on, let's make the country great again. It's never been great. I'm a ninja. That's an insulting statement. Secondly, fight back. I have to play this again.
In America, if you're a capable white man and you can't make something happen, that's on you.
Nothing to fight back for. He ran on nothing that was substantial outside of ignorance. So instead of paying attention to your actual issues, on top of this, the ignorant motherfucker didn't even lie about what he was going to do. You just weren't paying attention. And now that he's doing exactly what he said, a lot of the same dumb motherfuckers that voted for him are now upset. But because of this, there's an opportunity. If you start to groom these dumbasses and give them a viable white male candidate, which is the only fucking thing they're going to vote for, and stop pretending like you live in some kind of country that's like the movies you watch on TV and give yourself a real opportunity. But there's an opportunity here. Have you seen all of these clips of these motherfuckers cussing out the Republicans, being very upset, exercising, being very shocked that they're doing the same shit they've always done? Incredible. Incredibly stupid. Saw one veteran get up and cuss them out. I'm a veteran. You don't give a fuck about me. They've never given a fuck about you. Anybody that goes to the VA knows that. The VA is there for you, but anybody that goes to the VA or knows somebody that goes to the VA would tell you it could be a tad bit more efficient. It could be more efficient. Also, and again, with defining the common ground, when I say that, stop standing up on things you don't need to stand up on. Stop standing up on unnecessary issues that are going to divide you from a lot of the country and that are going to alienate you from people that may have flipped from the Republican Party. And again, this is about winning the election. So do the scouting report. I can give you one you can throw away and stop standing on. Stop standing up for boys that say they're girls that want to play high school sports against girls because they couldn't win when they were boys. If you want to be whatever and your parents let you do that, that is what it is. But if you want to play a sport, you're going to play a sport right over there with those people that were destroying you all the muddy years. But stop standing up for dumb shit like that. Stop standing up for a kid wanting to mutilate their body. And I can use that term because does anybody want to be held to the thoughts and standards you had when you were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? What you thought you were going to be doing, what you thought life was? You would never hold a kid to that, but you're going to let a kid tell you, hey, I think I'm this. Let's get into it. Where the hormones at? There's no need to be loud about that. Proof that there's no need to be loud about it is you're still quiet on every issue concerning black people. I'll give you one. 2 massacres occurred during this last administration. 2. Didn't the vice say there's no racism in this country? I know the lighter who always says there's no racism in the country. May 14, 2002, Peyton Gendron murdered 10 black people in a grocery store in Buffalo. A massacre occurred during the administration. The majority of these individuals were elderly, people that would be your parents' age. Jacksonville, Florida, Ryan Palameter, August 26, 2023, murdered 3 black people in a Dollar General because he couldn't get onto the campus of an HBCU where he wanted to go, so he could get as many as possible. In the scouting report also, for black people, and again, before I get off of that, my point in not having to make all this noise about transgender issues, if you can ignore 2 black massacres and continuously say this is not a racist country, and you can write up anti-hate bills for LGBTQ / people, Jewish people, Asian people, and with the same hands and out of the same mouth that did that, you tell us that there's no racism in America when it comes to us. They never mention it. They never bring it up. They won't say black. They say minority. Disenfranchised, whatever cute term they want to use. 2 massacres during their administration. I don't remember anything being said about it. If we're going to give the majority of our vote to this party, it cannot be acceptable for them to not address that. It is insulting to have hate be a fucking thing. And because they're the ones pushing and perpetrating the hate upon us, they get to decide that it's not happening. Meanwhile, they're raising children that are targeting and going after black people the same way it's been done throughout our time spent in this country. That massacre is no different than any other massacre that's occurred in this country. Most people don't know about it. Most people don't have the proper reaction when they do hear about it. The police were calmly He was standing up calmly, waiting to get in the police car. How him and them weren't gunned down is beyond me. If there's ever time to jump on somebody, rough them up, and all that bullshit they're always doing, how's this motherfucker standing upright? How's he not shot? How's he not beat the fuck up? How did somebody not kill him? Point being, this occurred during the administration. If that doesn't get your blood pressure going or make your heart pump just a little bit, you can stop talking about a boy that thinks he's a girl wanting to play sports with girls so he can win something. Let that dumb shit go if you're trying to win the election. That's another part of the scouting report. Stop with the dumb shit. Stop pushing dumb shit like that. It's stupid. And I can say it's stupid because you're ignoring us still being massacred and acting like black people don't have a problem in this country with the citizens, the police department, the court system, and the media. We are not depicted fairly in any sense because the majority of the people that are involved in those entities are of the lighter hue, and through their actions, they don't appear to be able to do that. Which is why you hear about Asian hate and Jewish hate in a country that literally gives them benefits. So another part of the report is to actually hold them accountable. How can a party take you seriously when they offer you nothing? Nothing but symbolism. Another crucial part of this. Y'all need to find a really good PR person and a nice video editor and a director. The Republicans give you gold. Negative. Donald Trump could not be more ignorant. He couldn't be a dumber fucking person. The people that vote for him couldn't be dumber. It should be easy to make. You don't have to really do a smear campaign. All you have to do is tell the truth about their dumbasses. Who is in charge of your damn campaigns? You don't even have to make up anything. These people are so damn stupid. You can tell the truth, make creative commercials and advertisements, and start. How about talking about the fact that they attacked the country at the Capitol? They wiped shit on the walls. Let me say that again. It's so casual. How do you wipe shit on the walls? Do you bring it? Do you eat something that upsets your stomach? Do you just reach in there and get it? This is a process, people. This is what they did. They built nooses, did chants about hanging people. You don't need anything else. Who the hell is your PR person? Who's in charge? You should have a field day with these motherfuckers. You don't have to make up anything because they're fucking idiots. In a political game where advertising is very much a weapon, because a lot of people are simple-minded and they damn near believe what they're told. All you have to really give them is a catchphrase here and there, a lie here and there, misinformation here and there. Why not just combat the misinformation? It's very simple. This motherfucker's lying. This is why. Host your own damn thing. Well, you just sit there and tell the truth and give reference points. A dumbass is going to be a dumbass. The ignorant people that voted for him, it's not a lack of intelligence. They're just stupid as hell. They were just voting for somebody that appeared. He told you he was going to send Mexicans back, and now you're mad he's doing it and fucking up your business. What were y'all looking at? You were just all caught up in the rapture of his damn KKK-ish ass fucking attitude and habits. Pure fucking stupidity. But these same dumb motherfuckers can be turned. Just give them a reason. They want to do it. They're upset right now. They want to do it so damn bad. And this is a political game anyway. For the most part, all they're doing is going back and forth trying to make people feel one way about the other party. We were Democrats. No, we were Republicans. And during most of those massacres, I mean, it wasn't just them exclusively, but the Democrats were most of the people doing most of those massacres, along with some of these other people that claim to be Republicans or whatever. But if you can go from a party that was literally murdering you and you can eventually become part of that party, it kind of lets you know what the game is, if you ask me. That history's there. They squash it. But the people that were literally losing elections and then saying, let's get the guns and kill all these motherfuckers, those are Democrats. And eventually you got a group that was Republicans to switch to that because they just switched the parties up. It's probably what they're doing now. They're just trying to be so extreme that anybody with a little bit of sense is going to have to switch up. But again, if that doesn't happen, what you have to look at then is the quality of the individual voting for them, which is why I can say psychopaths or dumbasses or ignorant ass people. unintelligent people. But these same unintelligent people are very upset. Some of them are. And with this is an opportunity to maybe sway a vote. So find a good PR person. You don't even really have to be creative. Just document what they do, what they say. Document the lies. Document all of the people that say they're against everything that's gay, and then you catch them doing gay shit. It's like two Republicans do that a year or some shit. It's so easy. Which is, for me, that's why I find it hard to believe that this is actually a sincere attempt to win the damn election, because they couldn't make it easier. They couldn't make it easier, and it's like these motherfuckers won't. January 6th was literally all you needed. If that doesn't work for you, I don't understand. But that was barely mentioned during this entire fucking process. It's hard to take this shit seriously, but find a better PR person, because I could make a better political ad than what I've seen from you motherfuckers. One more thing from the scouting report, and because I don't want to be long-winded, I'm trying to stay compact on this. Another thing on the scouting report is just be informed and actually don't live in the moment. Let's not jump into cliches. Let's get into the scouting report early. Let's be intelligent. Let's get the right candidate. Let's try to sway the people that need to be swayed. Now, again, the percentage of the lighter hue that voted for negative 47 far exceeds the percentage of black people that voted for Trump. It's a very minuscule number. But if you can get that upset about that minuscule number and act like that had something to do with the election, instead of knowing and understanding that you need to turn some of these white people and say, if you have any morality whatsoever, because this is not about Democrats and Republicans. This is because nobody if you have any sense of morality, you couldn't vote for them. It's that simple. It's not about parties and Republicans and Democrats. That's really the other part of the scouting report, which will allow you to understand what you need to do. This is not about qualifications and the parties. This is just about a group of people that are moral and a group that aren't. You can't have any sense of morality and vote for somebody that attacked the country, raped 12 women, bankrupt businesses, race baiting, attacking black people, and Hispanic people that voted for him in a large number during his presidency and when he was running. Everything that the common blue-collar worker and the common person, especially in the South, says that they're against, this motherfucker does, other than catering to your ignorance and secret hate for black people and everybody that's not white. And that's why he got elected, and that's why you dumb motherfuckers are suffering. You actually deserve it. With all of that being said, and it's a jacked up situation, but please, if this is all about really winning, get a viable white male candidate, because that's who you're going to need to get the white people that are needed to vote for you, because it's not about us. Again, another part of the scouting report that I didn't say, stop wasting time on frivolous events, frivolous attacks, and false indignation. Black men had nothing to do with us losing this election. Intelligence always questions. Only a fool follows directions or doesn't think. To ask questions about your political candidate is to be intelligent. Another part of the scouting report, which is I was saying, hold them accountable. We asked questions about Ms. Harris because we wanted to know. And when we ask questions, the first thing you scream is, you hate black women. Know and understand that that is a white way of thinking, because that is what they do anytime you address issues with the way that they behave concerning us. Every time, 100% of the time. They take offense and act like they're being attacked when you say, don't do that, or that is ignorant, or that is racist. Or they do the thing that's happened 100% of the time when I was having a conversation about events. They go from what you're talking about to saying, well, what about when this happened to a white person? And I always tell them the same thing. I said, I just talked to you about a murder. And you went over to a white person having to hear words or be inconvenienced. What you might not understand that means is nothing in your heart can feel empathy for black people being killed. So you had to bring a white person into it to feel anything. And these are the people you have to sway. So stop running white and black women thinking people that are that damn stupid and ignorant are going to vote for the qualified person. You have to give yourself a fighting chance. And you're not doing that living in this fairy tale world of whatever the hell you think this is. The movies are cute, but that's not where we are. And this is the Underground Railroad Show hosted by your boy, That Ninja, just talking about the scouting report needed to win the political game next time around. So again, please focus on what actually matters. And just as a side note, before I close this out, I've heard multiple times, and this is what I mean by a statement that's not based in actual information. This is the worst president ever. There's never been anybody worse than Trump. This is the worst president ever. He's ignorant as hell. He's racist as hell. He's stupid as hell. But the most racist and the worst president ever?
You blind motherfucker.
You must be on something.
In a word,
That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie.
and again, let's not do the emotional, unintelligent thing. That has nothing to do with, I'm stating a fact. Keep things in perspective. The first 17 presidents that we had owned slaves. I repeat, the first 17 fucking presidents that we had owned slaves. He's the worst. Thomas Jefferson raped a young black girl for years. Gave her multiple children. Generations later, on a mainstream network ran by the descendants of the people that committed similar acts, they made a movie depicting this story. The young lady's name, the name that she was given, that he raped from the time that she was a child when he was an old ass fucking man. Her name was Sally, or at least that's what we're told. And when they depicted the story of an old ass fucking man raping a young black child for years, giving her children, they called this movie Sally, a love story. They romanticized slavery and rape. He's the worst. Calvin Coolidge was an open Klan member. He had a picture of him in a robe on the White House wall. He was an open Klan member. The worst? The only thing he's really doing is saying things out loud for like recent people, but let's keep things in perspective. First 17 presidents were slave owners, and they did everything that slave owners do. Rape, murder, torture, chattel slavery, feeding black babies to alligators. The one thing they never talk about, let me get the proper name. It's not breeding farms, but they bred us. Didn't matter if you were related, didn't matter what was going on. They forced these people that they had breeding farms where they could make new slaves. Because they had to get people that weren't tied to the damn motherland. That's how they started to have a little bit of turn. But there's so much fucked up shit that went on. And I'm saying all this to say these people were a part of that. They did that every fucking day. It was normal. You know, whatever our power said, I work in mysterious ways. Y'all keep it pushing. But perspective. He's ignorant as hell, but first 17 presidents owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson raped a damn black girl, gave her kids. They made a movie about it later called it a love story. Calvin Coolidge was literally in the Klan. We have no shortage on asshole presidents. No shortage. So again, if the point is to win the election and not have another candidate like the one that we have now, please do the scouting report. The perception is that if you run a good campaign with a qualified candidate, you can win the election. But in reality, you need to do the scouting report and run the individual who appeases the voters you need to reach, or once again, you'll lose the game. Truly appreciate everybody coming aboard. Let's take a ride. Once again, this is the Underground Railroad Show hosted by your boy, That Ninja. Thank y'all for coming aboard and rolling with me. Let me go ahead and get into the chat room. On today's show, believe it or not, I have some round ball talk.
Who this nigga on that name?
Believe it or not, I have some round ball talk, as I have been watching March Madness and enjoying most of the games, seeing some things that perturbed me somewhat, but enjoying the games during March Madness, being the sometimey basketball fan that I've become in the last decade, where I only watch during playoff time. But enjoying March Madness, I have some round ball talk, believe it or not.
You must be on something.
Also, I still have some final breakdowns of select college and pro teams, since I only got through two of them in the last show and we went off into a food rant. But I really enjoyed that, listening to the replay. We, of course, have the Cow Awards, Colonizer of the Week, discussing the stories that are hidden and buried by the media, usually concerning heinous acts towards us. Us meaning black people. So that's what I have on the agenda for today. Decent amount of college and pro teams. Still have the Cows, of course. I have some round ball thoughts, and of course your chat in reaction to the opening man. But thank you all for coming aboard and rolling with me. Let's get into the chat room. First man in the chat room, my main man Sluggo. What's going on, sir? Sluggo joking on the commercial. Okay, that car did not have the most powerful engine. It definitely wasn't a Hemi. Coming aboard the train with his usual good evening,
Motherfucker.
got none other than my man JBJ on the train. What's going on, sir? JBJ says, Sluggo, I seen you and Maurice spewing that Chief Rocker slander in the chat. I don't know what happened. I'm not aware of any slander or what occurred, but I know what y'all are talking about. You're talking about the they're referring to the text thread that we belong to. We belong to a text thread, and a lot of conversations might start in there. A lot of back and forth. But they're probably referring to a conversation that occurred in said room. And honestly, man, I'll be honest with y'all, man. That damn thread goes. I don't have time to listen to all that shit. It's just I can't respond. And if the game's on, I'm not one that usually texts, but that chat room goes. Rather, that text thread goes. I said, these jokers really aren't going to stop. And once again, this is the Underground Railroad Show. Let me continue with the chat. Sluggo said, JB, I was on your side, sir. I got your boys playing in the championship game. JBJ is a fan of Florida, for those that don't know. He is a fan of the Florida Gators. And I guess I shouldn't do that because y'all playing good ball right now. Y'all are a good team right now. Y'all definitely a good team. So I guess technically I can't do that. But a fan of that team. And again, I do think y'all a good team, actually. Everything but the flopping. Everything but the flopping, sir. Oh, that's right. Oh, my bad, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud about something. Oh, that's right. I apologize. Side thing, as I'm still getting used to the format. That's interesting. I apologize. Sluggo said, as it relates to black people, there's very little difference between Republicans and Democrats. Only the presentation is different, as they both aim to keep us bolted to the bottom of the totem pole. And through their actions, that appears to be fact. Through their actions, that appears to be fact. Through their actions, that appears to be fact, sir. As I've always said, and this is just my humble opinion, and again, I base things on action, what I'm seeing. And through action, this is what they're showing. But a Democrat will speak nicely to you, appear to be concerned, listen to your issues. They may rub your shoulders. They possibly will offer a reach around. A Republican doesn't care about your feelings. They're not really going to talk to you. They're just going to jump right in and start pounding away. But either way, you are getting fucked. It's just a matter of what approach you like. But preach, sir. JBJ was saying, Sluggo, I seen you and Maurice spewing that Chief Rocker slander in the chat. Come on, man. We supposed to be brothers. Thank you for that update, JBJ. I will search for said soundbite, which I think I may have, but I can't nail down the folder right now. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, maybe. Okay. Just thinking out loud, but I'll get back to you on that one. Pause. Apologize for that. Sluggo said, Kamala thought acquiescing to racist white people was going to propel her to the top. But America showed her just how racist it is. And you got to love that. It's the only way you're going to learn. It's the only way you're going to learn. But from the beginning, it was a bad political strategy. Who do y'all think we live with in? I don't think y'all have real conversations with these cats. Because when I talk to them, you know that one thing is universal.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Stupid is stupid does. Stupid is stupid does, sir.
Sluggo said, if your political strategy is to pull out hot sauce, if your political strategy is to pull hot sauce out of your bag or stand in the kitchen cooking collards instead of a... Why I gotta be collards? I apologize. Sluggo said, if your political strategy is to pull hot sauce out of your bag or stand in the kitchen cooking collards, instead of addressing controversial issues, you deserve to get boat raced. Facts.
Come on, sister. God damn.
I agree with that, sir. And again, the people that voted for this cat, you have to know who you're dealing with and act accordingly.
White people have never been clean. Not now, not ever.
That's the element that voted for them. And now they crying, which is kind of funny. But again, outside of the humor and the stupidity in that, now is the time for anybody believing in that system and promoting the Democratic Party. Now is the time to go after those people you need to get. So let's not waste any time with the false indignation towards, I don't know, black men. How about the white dude you work with? That's whose mind you need to change. Nobody votes for the Democratic Party at a higher rate than black people. So address the problem area. And again, if the small percentage of ninjas that voted for Trump, which is minuscule, is something to get upset about, why don't you have anything to say about the ginormous amount of so-called good white people that you know that voted for him? No discussion with them, no vitriol. I haven't seen one Facebook post. Not without that very nice disclaimer, because of course you don't want to upset them. Do you think? Do you
A lot of
think?
you house niggas are scared.
Sluggo said, trying to resurrect Obama 2.0 was never going to work after we watched him be neutered for 4 years. And he was neutered. He wasn't. He spoke up on one thing. I remember this because I was slow down, T. I remember this because I was extremely proud when he did it. When that bitch ass police officer harassed and arrested Dr. Henry Louis Gates at his house, a fucking professor at Harvard, and some low-ranked motherfucker that never reached the levels of society that he did, arrested him because he didn't like the fact that his black ass actually lived in that house. Being a bitch, I don't believe you live here, pictures on the wall, that ain't enough, you need to show me something else. Acting like a straight bitch. He arrested him, had to let him go. Obama told the truth about how damn stupid he was, and the next day he had to apologize for telling the truth. And from that point forward, he never spoke up on anything. Trying to resurrect Obama 2.0 was never going to work after we watched him be neutered for 4 years.
You must be on something.
That motherfucker must have lost his goddamn mind.
Improvising with what I have,
You
sir.
must be on something.
That motherfucker must have lost his goddamn mind.
Sluggo said Democrats have the full playbook right now, and instant replay is showing everyone all the fouls, and they still couldn't win an election if there was an election 6 months from now. And that's the problem.
Truth is for everybody, but everybody might not be for the truth.
Are y'all paying attention? Do I need to run?
We need Tea Biden. Won't you vote Tea Biden?
It's not even a smear campaign. You could run a truth campaign on him, and at least at a bare minimum, nobody could claim to be uninformed of about what type of person he is. So you could at least openly and confidently speak poorly about the individuals that decided to vote for him, because if nothing else, you are aware of what type of person this man is, and you still voted for him. It didn't matter what he said. As long as he had that backdrop of being an ignorant, racist motherfucker, he could say anything. And these same people are crying.
In America, if you're a capable white man and you can't make something happen, that's on you.
Sluggo might have said, Sluggo, did you say this before I said it? Sluggo said, stop standing up for Transformers. You might have said that before I said what I said. Sluggo said, this is a third world country. This is a third world country that doesn't give two fucks about law and order. It's a fucking pig with lipstick and mascara masquerading as a supermodel. Ignorance. That's hysterical, sir. I got you. I got you. Oh shit. I apologize. But as Sluggo said, this is a third world country that doesn't give two fucks about law and order. It's a fucking pig with lipstick and mascara masquerading as a supermodel.
Stupid as stupid does.
Stupid as stupid does. Stupid as stupid does, sir.
America.
We got my man 334 on the train. What's going on, sir? Thank you for coming aboard. Hope you are enjoying the ride. Sluggo said, the illusion of choice has been whooping our collective asses. It has. The illusion of choice is beating the hell out of us, because that illusion of choice is what everybody stands on, probably so they don't lose their mind. And I get it to a degree, but at one point or another, you have to do the scouting report, or you're going to be that rat running on that wheel with the exact same results. Nothing's going to change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You have to be honest about what's happening in front of you. You have to be honest about it. And if you are, we should have had a lot more pushback on this obvious setup, which was the last election. Obvious setup because I don't know what else. From the beginning, it just seemed to be a setup. Both times he ran, it just happened to be against a woman because that's probably the only person. Okay, in a country that okay, just okay. Both times, just so happened. Okay, just so happened. Sluggo said the illusion of choice has been whooping our collective asses.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
It has been. It has been. Terribly so. Man, but it works for him. It works for him. That's the disappointing thing is at this point, this is kind of a repetitive process. It really is. JBJ said,
Amen, preacher. Oh, Jesus. Amen, preacher. Oh, Jesus.
Sluggo said, anyone who's paying attention knows that America's scouting report hasn't changed much as it relates to black people. Turn on a black speech by any number of black freedom fighters from the 60s, and their message then is just as relatable today as it was back then. It's like we keep falling for the same test when the answer key is right in front of us. Hashtag, hey man, but before I go there, well, fuck it. Hashtag.
Blind motherfucker. Did you blind motherfucker? Did you blind motherfucker?
The answers are right there. The answers are right there. They've already been taught. I've done so many shows about that, but the answers are there, and for some reason, we're not paying attention to them. I don't get it. I could pull multiple clips, but oh, wait a minute. Can I do that? I can do this, right? Is it 2 minutes? Can I do that? I've played that before, right? I'm thinking about the format and what I can get away with. Fuck it. I'll give you one. Now, actually, I could go. I'm sorry for pausing and thinking. So, before we go there, coming aboard the train, his usual bomb drop for slapping the sauce out of his wife's hands when she tried to apply it to my ribs. True story. True story. We have none other than my man Sidney Jackson on the train. What's going on, sir? Thank you for coming aboard, man. Hope you are enjoying the ride thus far. Hey, Sidney. I think I need to work on the volume for this so I could increase it, but I think it's audible. But thank you for this.
White people have never been clean. Not now, not ever.
I may play the full thing. It is fucking hysterical. JB.
Wait a minute. Who raised you?
JBJ defending his squad saying Florida does not flop. Okay. What you're saying is...
That ain't true. That's not true.
Sir, I'm speaking about games that I witnessed. Now, I can't speak on what they did for the entirety of the season. I can't speak on that. But I can speak on the games that I've watched. And on top of playing consistent ball and being smart with the ball and actually running a proper fast break, on top of doing all of these things, sir, they were also getting their flop on.
You're right. It's fact.
They were also getting their flop on, sir.
You blind motherfucker.
They do flop. I'm sorry.
You blind motherfucker.
JBJ says, Sluggo, Republicans also don't wear dashikis. Wow. Do y'all remember that shit, man? Holy propaganda, Batman. Holy propaganda, Batman. JBJ said, Sluggo, Republicans also don't wear dashikis while kneeling. I'm not going to argue with that one. I'm not going to argue with that one, sir. I have to agree with you, JVJ. I have to agree with you. And UConn was close. That's another game. UConn was close. They were close. They might get this shit. I thought they might have got a hold of it. They almost got y'all, man. But it was a good game. I've watched a good amount. These weekends, I've been kind of just sitting back and just watching games, really. I've been watching a lot of games during the weekend. Watching a good amount of games. Now, some of them I did the lazy thing and basically just saw the end. Essentially. Or the second half. I was a victim of doing that second half thing. Forgive me for the pause, but just looking and seeing. That is incredible. Really? Not where it should be. Okay, we'll work on that. But Sluggo, JBJ saying Republicans also didn't wear dashikis while kneeling. I hope those white bitches get tear gassed. Sir, I don't know why. I don't know why that one is not where it should be. But again, I thank you for the notes. And we're going to get some things fixed. That is shocking. That is shocking. Huh. Interesting. Okay. That joker's found two of them that I don't have situated. JBJ said, getting their flop on, quote unquote. That's a lie. JBJ, I'm sorry, man. Listen, I wish it was a lie. But, and I'm not, listen, well, you know, some people call it gamesmanship. It gets on my damn nerves. It's not something I care for. But outside of myself, maybe Tyrone, maybe a couple of people in the chat room, nobody else cares, man. Nobody else cares. That you're good. Nobody's going to call y'all out for it. Don't worry about it.
It's fact.
But yeah, sir, y'all when them jokers feel a little bit of contact, they taking some nice little dives. I'm not saying it's y'all's entire game. I'm not saying that. But it's definitely part of the coaching. It's pretty obvious that's the coaching. I know what you're saying.
That's a goddamn lie.
But I don't believe it is, sir.
That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie.
Tell you what, I don't appreciate the fact that one soundbite you asked for, I don't see it. That should be right there. Okay, then I'll make a little note of that one. I'll make a note of that one. But yeah, unfortunate. Definitely flop. Sluggo said, and it must be said, I've never voted for a Republican in my life, but like the others, as soon as you can't refute the criticism of the Democrats, you're suddenly a Republican. And again, that's my point. That is a white strategy. That's what was so disappointing about all the black people that were doing that. I'm trying to have an intelligent discussion. You're doing the same thing that they do. You're foregoing intelligence. You have no facts and you throw a tantrum. Who does that? That's why, personally, I just just base your conversation in fact, and that eliminates a lot of the bullshit. If you base things in fact, probably more than half the people that talk to you on a regular basis, it's going to be hard to listen to them. You ask them where they got that shit from, they're not going to be able to tell you. They're not going to have an answer. Third-party grapevine shit. Motherfuckers got a computer in their hand, and half the time don't bother to check the damn information. You got a whole computer. You can look up all this shit, believe it or not. JBJ gloating, saying UConn.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
I thought they had y'all, man, to be honest.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
I was like, I think Florida's out of here.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
I said, oh shit, I think UConn got him. Never mind. But yeah, y'all pulled it off. Kind of annoying, to be honest, but it's all gravy. Forgive me again, doing a couple of things. After the show, I noticed that, and me look. Okay. Situated. Check one more source. Oops, that was an accident. All right, I'm still going to get into. I still have some end of the year reviews for some of these teams. So I'm going to get into those. As a matter of fact, give me checking. Okay. Interesting. Okay. We're all for that. Sidney Jackson said, facts, Sluggo. These ninjas are such simpletons. They think because we point out factual information from their favorite candidates that we support the other side. Or we point out factual shit from their favorite candidate that we support the other side. And this is the thing about it. They don't think you support the other side, but again, they're doing the most cowardly, weak, pathetic, uninformed thing that somebody can do. Instead of saying, I didn't know that, let me reach for the computer that's probably in my pocket and research. Nobody ever says that. I didn't know that. Let me research it. They just throw a tantrum. Man, that is what the scum of the earth do. There's a group of people that are the scum of the earth that do that every time you hold them accountable for their bullshit. Why would you join in on that? I never get upset when somebody corrects me. I'm like, oh shit, for real? That's okay. Like when I said there were little broken down pieces of my show on the internet. I don't know how they got there. They're the old shows we used to do on Doug's thing. I didn't know those were on YouTube. And there are little 10-minute intervals of it. And I guess that's just something that the internet does or the YouTube does. I didn't know that. So I said, I don't know how that happened or who did it, but you know what I'm saying? I appreciate it or whatever. And he said, Ninja giving credit to bots. That would have been like me throwing a tantrum because he let me know that it was fucking bots. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Thank you for the information. I can use this moving forward. I didn't know we had so many grown-ass fucking children. But this last political season, so many ninjas were acting like them. I give you the truth. You play victim and don't address anything I'm saying. And the result of that is a dumbass in the White House. So again, scouting report, that co-worker, good old Bubba, good old Chuck, good old Todd, sit down and have a combo. We need to turn that vote. Same aggression you had with us. You can do it, buddy. Get over your fear. They was aggressive as hell talking to us, boy. Very aggressive. This is the Underground Railroad Show hosted by your boy, that Ninja. Let's go ahead and get into. Well, hold on. Before we get into some pigskin, let me make sure. Let me check here. Yep. Just making sure that I had those cow wars from Sluggo. Hey, man, for For me, it was. I know what you're saying, JBJ.
Who this nigga on that name?
For me, sir, that's how I felt about it, sir. I was like, damn, Florida won. I just said, JBJ said, kind of annoying that Florida pulled it off with a bunch of question marks.
Selfish as fuck. Motherfuckers is selfish as fuck.
It's not personal, sir. And just for clarification, the reason I'm trying to pause before I hit these sound bites when I listen to the replay. Now, again, let me clarify on this. I'm hitting the sound bite after I talk. But when I hear the replay, the sound bite is clashing with me talking. But I've never hit the sound bite before I finish talking. So there's like a delay on my voice, but the delay isn't on the sound bite, something. But for some reason, even though I'm hitting it after the fact, sometimes when I listen to the replay, I'm stepping on the sound bite, rather. I'm stepping on the sound bite. I'm not hitting this button before I stop talking. So I'm trying to give myself an extra second or two because apparently there's some type of delay that I need to account for.
Motherfuckers is selfish as fuck.
Like I waited 2 seconds in, know that dead air, it just feels crazy. It feels terrible. Fortunately for me, JBJ, that was kind of annoying. It was kind of annoying. Let's see. Do I want to? Okay. Since it is round ball season, I'll tell you what. We'll get into some round ball next before I finish my final breakdown of some select NFL and college teams. I'll speak about a few games from my novice March Madness standpoint. I'll talk about my bracket that has been beat down and thrown aside and stomped on and discarded and thrown in a dumpster and all of those things. I'll discuss that as well. Unfortunate. But it's still fun to watch and look at the bracket and act like I'm viable and actually a part of the process. It is kind of cool. It's good to know that I have a good heart and I don't mind donating. That's what's really important here, is the heart of the man that doesn't mind donating. That's what you need to think about.
What? Nigga, please.
Says the person making excuses for having a shitty bracket. This is the Underground Railroad Show hosted by your boy, that Ninja. We're going to get into some round ball, a few thoughts on a couple of games that I've watched, some thoughts on the tournaments and things that I've seen, what I like, what I don't like, what I approve of, what I disapprove of, and a couple of surprises and or classic moments, in my humble opinion. Once again, this is the Underground Railroad Show, and we will get into some round ball. We'll get into my final evaluation of select NFL and college teams. We'll get into the Cow Awards. I almost forgot. I'll see how I feel. I'll do the round ball talk. Perhaps I'll give you the SWAC Championship indoor track meet that I went to. I went to an indoor track meet, the SWAC Championship. I'll let you know how I ended up there, who let me know about it, the invite, or just as far as like giving me the information that it was taking place within driving distance of my home state, or my homestead, rather. I enjoyed the SWAC Championship. So I also had that on the agenda, which is not on my notes, which are on my phone, ABM. Notes on the phone, Ninja. So we're going to get into some round ball. We're going to get into a little bit of the SWAC Indoor Championships, as well as some select football teams, the Cow Awards as well. And we'll get into all of that after this classic skit done by myself and a man known as Jungle Brother.
Welcome to the $25,000 pyramid. I'm your host, Chuck Woolley. Today, the two champions need no introduction. Everybody knows it. Two-time champions, and everybody loves them. The Diplomat and Big Apple Bastard. Gentlemen, you've been playing the game well. Before we get started, let everybody know what you've been doing with your winnings and newfound fame. Diplomat, you first.
Thanks, Chuck. Well, Chuck, ever since being on the pyramid, I've been enhancing my entrepreneurial spirit. I went to all the corner stores in the hood and bought up all the extra hot South meat and the crackers, and out my back door, I'm selling South meat and crackers, and I'm doubling my profit, making a killing, Chuck. So I love the pyramid, man. Thanks for having me on.
Great job, Diplomat, going into that American spirit of earning money. Big Apple Bastard, what about you?
Well, Chuck, seeing how you didn't do like I told you to and pay me in cash, oh, my baby mama found out I got this money, so now my child support has been increased. Chuck, thanks a lot.
Well, Big Apple Bastard, I'm sorry to hear about that, but if you do well today, that's more money for your baby mamas. All right, gentlemen, let's get ready to play the game.
Yeah, won't he do it?
Yeah, he did it. I told you not to mess with my sister, man.
Hey, gentlemen, let's concentrate. All right, gentlemen, you ready to play the game? You know what to do. Here we go.
All right, Big Apple Bastard, man, you ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm ready, son.
All right, man, we know what to do. Let's handle business. All right, here we go. I was raised in so much privilege, I think everyone should care about my opinion.
Melania Trump.
Nah, but good guess. If you hold me accountable for my actions, I'll start crying and play the victim.
Oh, that dog-head bitch, LK.
Nah, man, but good guess. Hello? 911. I see some black people having a good time, and it looks like they have more money than me. I mean, one of them threatened me. Please hurry.
White folks in America with 3Ks.
Nah, but that's a good guess. I've screened rape throughout history so the whites could use it as an excuse to kill, imprison, and steal from black people that were better than them.
Oh, Playboy, why you didn't leave with that? They ain't nothing but that white bitch, Karen.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. All right, man. Here we go. Now we rolling. When I hear house/techno music, I go crazy.
Oh, that sounds like somebody from Chicago.
Good guess. But no, man. My wife shut down my show faster than the police shoot black people.
Oh, man, that sounds like somebody handpicked.
But yeah. I really feel good about John Gruden, Mike Mayock, and the Raiders.
That sounds like somebody like Santee, one of the Raider boys.
Yeah, good guess. The greatest rap verse ever written was Me, Missy, and Timbo rap at any tempo.
Oh, I got it. That can't be nobody but Magoo for life.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. All right, man. Here we go. My favorite college team gets their ass whooped more than a white boxer.
Oh, that sounds like somebody. That sounds like Pee Wee Herman.
What the fuck now, man? My first business venture was pimping out white bitches to the community for profit.
Oh, that sounds like somebody Jackie.
Yeah, but no, man. I recruited a talented podcaster so my shortcomings would go unnoticed.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Kenny Chase.
No, but pretty good guess. When I sit down on a bench or a chair, I can hear it say, "Goddamn!"
Oh, one for the Fat Boys.
Nah, but pretty good guess. I've been repeatedly accused of laying aggressive and unwanted knuckles on the sisters of the church.
Oh, I know now. Thinking delicious.
Yeah, player, that's it. Alright, man, here we go. In my childhood photos, I look like a terrorist.
Oh, that sounds like somebody from Iran.
No, man, no. I have so many different podcast shows. Jamaicans tell me I need to take a break.
Oh, that sounds like somebody put nothing to do. It's like somebody ain't working.
No, man, no. The 49ers got better when I stopped rooting for them, and the Bears fell off when I started rooting for them.
Oh, Andre Elam and the Soul King Big
No, man, no. As a high school quarterback, I had a 98% completion percentage because I always checked down to a screen.
Oh, that's like somebody with no arm and no confidence.
Yeah, but no, man. I play in a 50 and over league to hide my diminishing basketball skills.
Oh, okay, I got that one. I can't be nobody but happy dude from Fayetteville.
Yeah, player. All right, man, here we go. One more.
Come on, man, let's go. Come on, man, one more.
I throw rocks and hide my hands.
Oh, that sounds like somebody with no integrity.
Yeah, but no. I graduated from Kinko's University with a degree in Recycling Ideas 101.
Oh, man, that sounds like somebody with no content.
Yeah, but no. My attempt at a 24-hour network failed like New Coke.
Oh, that sounds like somebody with no creativity.
Yeah, but no, man. I have meetings to shit on other podcasters instead of trying to improve my product.
Oh, that sounds like somebody who don't know what they're doing.
Hey, come on, man. I once told a podcaster, when I get done with you, nobody will be in your chat room.
Oh, okay, I got it now, man. Puff Daddy wanted me.
Hell yeah, player. Yeah, that's it. Hey, man, we won. Hey, 3 times, Big Apple Bastard. 3 times, man. We did that shit.
I'm gonna change my name this time.
Hey, man. Hey, look. Not only am I gonna sell South Meat out my back door, I'm now gonna sell bologna. I'm gonna double my profit. Hey, it's gonna be big time, man. We did that, man. We know how to play this game. Hey, man, I'm gonna need a cut of that money, though. Give me 25%.
Oh, come on, man. You just bumped me last time.
This is the Underground Railroad Show hosted by your boy, that Ninja. Whoops, my bad. This is the Underground Railroad Show hosted by your boy, and rolling with me. I see that I didn't fix this. I thought I did. Let's do that. All right, let's go ahead and get into a little round ball, man. Let's get into a little round ball. Before I get in the round ball, let me finish off what is left in the chat room. And before I even start, well, let's not do that. Where we at? Yeah, I could say that. Sluggo said, essentially, UConn pulled a blatant Hollywood.
Motherfucker.
JBJ said, no, I read that one. So I missed that earlier. Let me see. Okay, I read that, my bad. Sluggo said, maybe the next Democrat can eat some South meat to win over ninjas. Not South meat.
You must be on something.
It probably will work. Sluggo said unwanted knuckles, or laughing at unwanted knuckles. Sluggo said Puff Daddy Wannabe has a whole new connotation now. Hashtag no Diddy. Yeah, it does. You notice I don't talk about that much, man. It's just, for me, I'll just say this, and this is just me. Too many of the lighter hue do terrible things that don't get talked about, and because it doesn't get talked about, nobody else does. But when a ninja's accused of something, it's nonstop news. And every time that they're fucking up, they arrest some ninjas for ominous shit. Like every single time. Negative 45, breaking laws left and right, raping women, doing everything in the world to go, starting a fucking revolt in the country he was a president of. And while all this going on, rappers getting arrested for lyrics. If words can get you arrested, man, I don't know. There'd be the jail population and dynamic would be a hell of a lot different. if we talking about a problem with words. But at any rate, I digress. It's just that yeah, it definitely has another connotation. Definitely has that. I just wish the jokes. I wish I saw as many Kevin Spacey jokes as I did those. But yeah, it does have a whole nother meaning. It's extra insulting. And I'm not referring to you, obviously. Just the way the public reacts. You know, you don't see Kevin Spacey jokes. I mean, in here, you don't see Kevin Spacey jokes. You don't see Porzingis talk. You don't see Wheeler talk from Seattle. You don't see any of that because they had a mental episode. But I digress. Round ball. Sluggo said Weinstein gets put on blast. Next thing you know, a famous R&B artist was the target. Yeah, every time something goes down with them, they arrest a ninja for hearsay, but you got a billion other things that actually happen. Or they'll feel like they should have a charge. They don't really have. They'll take what should be this charge, but find a way to turn it into something. And it's disturbing to me that so many of us are laughing and be like, yeah, fuck him and all of that. But in this country, with the way they operate, with all the murderous damn savages that have murdered and done things to ninjas and nothing happens to them, I'll never understand that attitude. I'll never understand it. I just don't see how you think that we're going to even things up or make things better in a country where the lighter hue will ignore everything that's happening to us, ignore crimes committed by people that look like them, and somehow we're going to catch up happily criticizing every ninja that they put a report out on. The same people that don't see anything that they do every time, oh, this ninja did. I haven't reported on any of this terrible shit happening with the lighter hue. But as soon as something happens to a ninja, it's every day, all day. It's just, it doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. If they, at the end of the day, if they had some form of morality and the news was even across the board, I could accept it. But I can't accept it because literally every time they do something, it's downplayed. But I've seen instances where a ninja has said something and they talk about it ad nauseum. And these are my reasons and rationale for saying that they're not capable of being fair. Because for most white people, black words are worse than white actions. Now, if you disagree, just let me know and I'll give you clarification. I can give you examples of where white actions were ignored, but black words were taken to task. It happens too much. But at any rate, Weinstein's another one. Wasn't he supposed to have gotten killed or some shit, or did he just croak? Or did he get let off? I can't remember. Weinstein, Oprah Winfrey's buddy, right? Yeah, Oprah Winfrey, who attacked Ludacris because she said he had harsh lyrics. But you never blasted Weinstein on your show, ever. Not the way you edited up and shitted on Ludacris. Okay. Gayle King shitting on Kobe the day after he died. Okay. They ignore a president that rapes. We shitting on black people the day after they die. Okay. Okay. See the difference in what you got to do to make it? All they got to do to make it is be ignorant as fuck. You can be an ignorant bastard. It's perfectly cool. As a ninja, you got to push their agenda. Name one person that's in that spotlight that doesn't do that shit. Day after that man died, let me get on there and make sure I shit on him. Somebody send me the link to when she shitted on Harvey Weinstein. Somebody, please. Do you watch Oprah?
Who this nigga on that name?
I sure don't. All right, man, let me get into some round ball. But again, I like this time of year because I can jump around subject matter, get into a couple of things. Round ball wise, okay. Now, let me do what people do when they haven't been watching round ball all year and they're not knowledgeable about the teams. Let me do what people do when that's the spot they're in. Sluggo said,
Amen, preacher.
Sluggo said Snoop told the truth about Gayle by calling her a funky doghead bitch and had to apologize. Preach? That's facts.
Amen, preacher.
He told the truth. He told the truth and he had to apologize because she shitted on Kobe Bryant the day after he died. And the problem with that is find one clip of her doing that to a white person. The history of white women lying on black men in this country, and you dare to say that out loud? Did any of y'all hear her rapping about and laughing about how she got money from him at a nightclub dancing and partying? Remember that rap that Shaq had? You know how I be? Last year, Kobe couldn't do without me. Remember that, the little playoff rap? You know how I be? Last year, Kobe couldn't do without me. Remember that? That white girl that said he raped her and got her bread was in a club rapping. And her lyrics went, you know how I be? So many years ago, Kobe Day raped me. You know how I be? Such and years ago, Kobe Day raped me. Da 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 da. And she even said some shit to let you know it didn't happen. You didn't report that. Once again, let me say it again. The history of white women lying on black men in this country, and you say that as a black woman? You have that job because you do shit like that. No excuse for that. Because you don't do it to them. If I'm wrong, somebody please send me a clip. I'd love to see it. I bet it doesn't fucking exist. I bet it doesn't exist. Interesting. Excuse me. Shit happened. I was like, I ain't gonna lie. I was taken back a little bit. I was actually taken back a little bit. I'm like, that bitch really do that shit? But unfortunate. I digress. Let me move on. All right, round ball talk. Let's go here. Let me go to where a person goes when they haven't been watching basketball all year. They don't know the makeup of the teams. I can't tell you the way they played throughout the season. I can only tell you what I've seen in these damn tournaments. I haven't watched any round ball until the conference tournaments and, now with March Madness. I haven't watched anything. So with that being said, I enjoyed watching teams that still take mid-range shots, that work the ball inside out, that run an offense. I don't mind three-pointers at all, especially within the framework of a play. Coming off of a screen, catching the ball, coming off of a damn screen, and turning around and shooting, that's what that play is for. I love that. But when I see inbound passes that can be made, fast breaks, there are certain teams. God, I wish I could pinpoint some games. That's why I have to give Florida credit. I haven't seen them do it. Who was the other team? But fast breaks. Fast breaks where there's somebody you can give the ball to for a layup or a dunk, and you pull up and shoot a three-pointer. That happens in so many games. I hate that shit. Like, if a team does that too many times, I secretly want them to lose, despite what's on my bracket. If a team flops, I'll tell you the things that make me want to say, I hope y'all motherfuckers lose. And it doesn't even matter what's on my damn bracket. If you're a flopping team, I hope your ass loses. If you routinely take terrible fucking shots, it doesn't necessarily have to be three-pointers, but when you don't move the ball, when you've driven the ball, the defense collapses on you, which means somebody is open, and you attempt to throw up a shot and throw your body around, trying to get a foul instead of running the damn offense. Every now and again that happens, but when it's constant with people open on the perimeter, when it's a give and go and the fucking give doesn't happen, what are you doing? In fast breaks, where motherfuckers are pulling up and shooting three-pointers with open men running down the lane. Man, my coach would have ran you, motherfucker. You would have ran so many damn suicides. A three-pointer on an open fast break with a man streaking towards the rim. Do you know how many games I watched where there was a man that had position where that entry pass should have came in, a nice bounce pass or a nice lob pass over the top, and that entry pass was not made? Shortly thereafter, here goes somebody shooting a fadeaway three-pointer. After so many of those damn games, I was like, I hope these motherfuckers lose. I hope they lose this shit. Run a damn offense. Work the ball inside out. With all that being said, we have some decent games. Some games that were interesting. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched everything, but I did have a couple of days where all I did was just sit back and watch ball. But I watched it the way a novice football fan watches it. Some I just sat down and watched. Some of it I was moving around, cleaning, doing things, listening, and or turning around and looking at the TV as I was going. So some of these I watched intently, some I didn't. For the most part, I watched the second half, especially, 5 minutes less, 10 minutes less, depending on what the score was. I was watching that. Let's just go here first. Ole Miss defeated Iowa State. Ole Miss kind of controlled that game throughout. And Ole Miss, again, I haven't watched them all year. I don't know what their MO is, what they did during the course of the year. But I do know I enjoyed watching them work the ball inside and take mid-range jump shots, run things where you had people coming off the top of the key right there at the post, step above the free throw line. High percentage shots as opposed to constantly jacking three-pointers. Because a three-pointer should almost be like the okra in gumbo. It should almost be like the okra in gumbo, depending on your team. You get one every now and again. It's a decent amount of them, but not too many because it would mess everything up. That's how I feel about the threes, unless you just have the type of personnel that can really shoot it like that, or you're just having one of those days. But it's hard to maintain that type of play and win with that throughout the course of a tournament where you have to win multiple games. Now, if you're doing it within the framework of the offense and it's a high percentage shot, that's different. But what I'm seeing is some of these, I'm seeing people that are trying to set it up the way they can shoot a three, where they're shooting them from the logo area. They're 3 and 4 steps back. They haven't even attempted to run the offense. They haven't passed the ball one fucking time. Well, I can remember when my coach saying that used to get on my damn nerves. But they hadn't passed the ball one fucking time. And they're just gunning. And some teams almost cost themselves a game with that, and some did. Some are right on the verge of catching up. And they got a good look, and they just couldn't make the damn shot. It's just a tale of the tape. But watching some teams shoot themselves in the foot, that was disheartening. And a lot of teams did that with ill-advised shots. I understand open threes. I understand high percentage shots. You're open, you're off a screen. They just leave you alone, and that's actually your game. I get that. But looking to gun the ball, driving the ball, taking on the entire defense, you're not even looking to make a play. Once the defense collapses on you, motherfucker, somebody's open, and you should know where that ball's going immediately. Once that collapse happened, you're dropping it off to the man under the post, so somebody's open for a jumper. But I saw repeatedly cats were just taking on the entire fucking defense. And the majority of the time, they fell short. And it's been an interesting tournament thus far, interesting tournament. A lighter note, or not a lighter note, a note that's more important because I haven't been into it all year. My bracket, allow me to say.
Hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
Looking at my bracket.
Brilliance is the best brilliance is brilliance born not from someone ignorant.
I could have let a blind deaf mute that's never seen basketball feel my shit out.
Best brilliance is brilliance born not from someone ignorant.
Piss poor and terrible. Another team that won their game, but and they did a little better. Their style of play. And they did better in the second half. But Auburn taking on Creighton. Auburn beat Creighton 82-70. Just a slight observation. Sometimes Auburn doesn't play smart basketball. They did a little bit better in the second half, but they put themselves in bad positions just with some of the basketball that they were playing. And for me, a side note, I've noticed when the teams have certain makeups that you really have to be careful about not letting that game be too close. You have to be careful about most of the teams that have a lot of the lighter hue, they're floppers. I think it's because they have to be because they can't guard the people in front of them. And that shit is so damn annoying. I'll give you one in particular. Before I get off of this, Auburn defeats Creighton. Auburn needs to be careful about the way that they're playing basketball. They're winning, but they're not playing the best basketball. And before I go on to what I was about to say about the other team, the same with Alabama. Alabama won that game, I think, a little more convincingly. They won 80-66 against St. Mary's. Now, I don't know if it was so much St. Mary's play that kept the game close early, but I think a lot of it had to do with Alabama. And I understand the point guard being their player and taking some of those shots, but that's another cat that will take on the defense when there's a pass to be made. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's a point. So it's just, and Alabama's another team that loves to gun the three ball. They shot themselves out of the tournament last year. Hopefully they'll, play to their strengths. Just play smart ball. And if you take threes within the framework of the offense, you'll have a high percentage of making those. But forcing these shots, just holding the ball, letting the shot clock tick down the way you can take your one-on-one situation, that's always cute when you make it. But if a team is playing sound basketball, they're running a nice offense where they're getting high percentage shots, it's hard to beat that team doing that for an entire game. It's hard to beat them. You can have some highlight moments. You can have some reels. You can compete. But it's hard to keep up with a team that's running it through the course of the offense and shooting three-pointers that are coming off of a screen as opposed to fighting off of them, dribble, backstepping, fading to the right, dealing with a hand in your face. Set yourself up to take a high percentage shot. And I'm still old-fashioned in the sense of working the ball inside out. To me, is still the way to go around ball. But that is definitely not the preferred style of play in today's game if you're looking at the way some of these college teams are playing. Pause. Really need to get a cough button. But Alabama, another team like Auburn, winning but not playing smart basketball right now, and against better teams that can catch up with them. So I don't want them to get beat by a fundamental team like BYU if they're not playing smart basketball and taking too many low percentage shots and not running the fast break properly. Even if you make the shot, I'm not a fan of pulling up for a three-pointer on a fast break. Unless you really didn't have a good lane to pass the ball, but you're confident in your rebounders. 3-on-1 break. You let that three go because you're confident if you miss it, that your guys are going to get the rebound. But generally speaking, in that situation, if you push the ball, you make the defender make a decision, you drop the ball off. Or you take it to the cup. Just those small fundamental things that aren't being executed by some teams, it's bothersome. And I think it could catch up with them later on in the tournament. Some moments that I happened to catch, that School Up North beat Texas A&M. That was not enjoyable to watch. Shout out to Deacon Dale, but that was not enjoyable to watch.
You're right. It's fact.
I'm a fan of The Ohio State University, so I never like to see that School Up North win at anything. So take that as you will. Michigan State held off New Mexico, who was giving them hell for the majority of the game. Tom Izzo still at Michigan State. That man has hella tenure, a lot of tenure. Arkansas taking on St. John's. Now, this is a game I watched. I watched all of this game just because it was an interesting matchup. And now, of course, the mainstream, the only thing they wanted to talk about was Calipari and Pitino. And throughout the game, they just kept looking for reasons to bring that up. And while I'm at it, before I get in this game, let me do another one of those games of people that I feel that don't have the ability to guard, so they're allowed to flop. They're allowed to jump in front of people and jump on the ground and scream and get fouls on players that they have no chance of guarding. That's what I hate about that flopping shit and sliding over and jumping on the ground. Purdue is another team full of the lighter hue that get a lot of calls for jumping on the ground, and they don't get called for their push-offs. And before I move on, it might have been before this. I know I'm jumping all over the place. I don't have round ball notes written down. I'm just remembering as I go. This is what bothered me. Outside of like the breaks, this is the other thing. And this was evidence to what I was saying earlier. But watching fast breaks not being executed properly, watching people flop, and the other thing, watching watching the lighter hue get calls. That it always happens, but it's annoying. When Alabama was in trouble in that game they were in. And I'm trying to make sure it was this one. Let me go back to that game because I forgot about that. Alabama and St. Mary's. Now, I think it was this game or the game before they were in trouble. I can't remember. It might have been the game before. It was. Not this game, but the game before. And let's go back to that game. Let's just go back to that. Alabama was taken on, and I'm not recalling through my memory. I am looking in the phone. Robert Morris was giving Alabama hell. And I don't think, no, I'm right about that. Yeah, Robert Morris. Robert Morris was giving Alabama hell. And this again goes back to not playing smart basketball was part of it. One player in particular was killing Alabama. It was a very good game. Robert Morris had a real chance. And then they put in the white guy that can play. I don't know his name, so that's why I'm calling him the white guy. And when he came in, the only thing he did was hook people, flop, and do some fouling. But all of it turned out to be positive. One play in particular, and they've neutered the players to where they can't say anything, but one play in particular, this man took two hands, just like the big, slow, goofy European in the NBA that everybody loves, and they keep giving them MVPs. And every time I watch them, all I see is somebody using their offhand to push people out the way, and then they shoot a shot, and they say, "Oh my God, Jokic!" I'm just not impressed. For me, I know he has some moves and makes some moves, but every time I see him do anything significant or has to play a real player that can guard him, or when it's go time, all I see him doing is pushing people out the way. I literally watched him take two hands, shove somebody out the way, grab a rebound, shoot it, and they're screaming Jokic. And just for perspective, a player that nobody thinks is great, most people don't like, they tell jokes about him, he's very weird, very questionable. But let me just say this, the reason why I'm not impressed, and some people might not get this. Dwight Howard is a good player, or was a good player and is a good player. But nobody is jumping out of their sock for Dwight. I remember nothing but criticism. Like every black big man got nothing but criticism. And for me, this is what I saw in the NBA. They're backing down and making moves, and every time they spin, whoever's guarding them just jumps on the ground. They call a foul and then blame the player. When there's no consistency with the call, that's fucking stupid. That's one of the reasons that I couldn't watch the NBA on a regular basis no more. It was just fucking stupid. There was no consistency in the way they called plays. And every ninja that was a big man that tried to make moves, whoever was guarding them just jumped on the ground. And they kept blowing the whistle. So how the fuck can you make a move and play when that happens? And I don't think people understand that if you do that to somebody, that limits their ability. And you keep blaming them saying you just can't do that. Do what? I'm doing the same thing they're doing on the other side, except the whistle isn't being blown. You're pretending as if the people officiating were actually decent. There was an entire book written about it that the media ignored because that's what they do. Let me say that again. A fucking book by a federally convicted person. Part of his plea agreement. You could not write lies in that book because that would have violated his agreement. That means everything he wrote in the book was true. They didn't cover that because it wasn't something that's going to make the players look bad. It wasn't nothing to make ninjas look bad. It was refs. Why do they want to make them look bad? Anybody that watched the game could tell the officiating was fucked up. That was easy to see. It's just accepted. Back to this point, for me, they take the ball out of people's hands and help out others. And the difference in that, whether you agree with this or not, if Dwight Howard was allowed to push people the fuck away and then dunk and then have everybody say, oh my God, he's amazing, that nigga would have been unstoppable. Why should I be impressed with some slow motherfucker that pushes people out the way every time he makes a move and they act like they don't see it because they like the way he looks? They've been pushing this European shit for years. When I stopped watching, it's because I couldn't take any more of it. And that when I went away from it, they went over the top, and I look up, and they've given a fucking Euro 3 MVPs in a row. And most people think Euros are the best players in the league. Some people are very fucking gullible. The power of editing. People still don't get it. Give me a court and let me pick the players. No NBA referees to help people they like. And watch all them people you think are great get fucking destroyed by players that you think are average. I'm not saying he can't play, but if you can push people away and they don't call it, as opposed to I make a move, I haven't fouled anybody, but because they're jumping on the ground, they call foul. Do you understand how that's going to affect the career? The difference is being a productive player that doesn't have MVPs and being average as fuck and having 3. When I finally watched him play, I said, dude, I've watched 5 games, and every game he is literally shoving people out the way. And this motherfucker's an MVP. Okay. Okay. My point is, Alabama, that player for them, he literally took 2 hands and shoved that nigga to the floor. The referee came right in and called a foul on the nigga he shoved to the floor. That's one of the honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Alabama was really about to lose that fucking game until they started blowing whistles, dude. They might have won anyway in a 1-point game, but they started whistle whooping those niggas. And that's the shit I hate about any sport. I just hate that shit. And that in particular happened in that game. Dude came in and just started fouling people. The guy from Purdue, that can't guard anybody, he's always jumping in front of people and flopping and screaming. There was one play where he jumped up under somebody's legs trying to take his fucking knee out, and they're screaming about what a fucking hustle guy he is. I've seen that shit throughout the tournament. People that need help getting help. But dude literally shoved that ninja to the ground, and they called a foul on the person he pushed to the floor. So, I mean, as good as it's been, I've seen things like that. So that was wild. But yeah, Robert Morris was in Alabama's ass. Lucky for them, the coach brought in somebody that the referees didn't mind giving calls to. Boy, that was close. That was a close one. They did a lot better against St. Mary's. Sometimes Spears, maybe it's just me, sometimes he takes ill-advised shots. It's like for some reason, every now and again, he wants to take on the whole defense. Or just there was one sequence where he gunned the 3. They got the rebound. Somebody kicked it out. And he either gunned the 3 again right away, or the other person that got the rebound stepped behind the line and immediately jumped up in there and gunned another fucking 3. Didn't even reset the offense. If they play a good team, that shit could get them beat. So hopefully they'll stop that if you're a fan of that team. But that was the thing I wanted to mention about Alabama when dude 2-hand shove homie to the ground. Florida and Connecticut. Connecticut played a really good game against Florida. And I thought they were going to get them. Florida, again, I'll stay off of that. Let me just say that the makeup of Connecticut gave them the same advantage that Florida has. They had a makeup that kind of neutralized Florida's makeup, and they were just playing good basketball. You know, there wasn't a lot of whistle interference, and maybe a little late in the second half. Some of that shit, I'm like, really? But it was a good game. It was a good game. And until the latter moments of the second half, I thought Connecticut had Florida. But give Florida credit, when shots needed to be made, they were made. When there was time to step up, their players stepped up and made key shots. That was really the main thing at the end of the day. There were teams that had opportunities, and they got good looks, and a good play was drawn up, and the player got a good look at the damn shot, and they just couldn't come up with it. And that was just a difference in some of these games. Some teams were able to make that shot where they could make a run, able to make that shot where they could seal the deal. And some, man, just couldn't hit the backside of a fucking barn. But Florida, in the waning moments, made clutch shots. I can't remember. Maybe it was number 1. They made that clutch 3-pointer. They either tied the game for Florida or put them up. Clutch ass shot. But Florida just kept making their shots and was able to pull out the game at the end despite struggling at the free throw line. Might want to work on that just a tad bit. But it was a good game that I thought Florida would have lost. They ended up pulling it out. I don't have a good reason for this. I've just never been a fan of Florida, and I can't give you a solid reason. So, feel free to call me out on that. I don't have a reason. I can't give you one. Just never been a fan of that school. Perhaps it's, as ABM says, the faggoty blue uniforms. Colorado State taking on Maryland. Not going to pretend like I watched this entire game, but I did see the ending. Trying to remember and make sure. I believe, was this the game? Was that him? I'm looking through. I'm trying to make sure I'm not mixing these games up. I think it was that one. I believe that's the game where homie for Colorado State hit a clutch-ass three-pointer. They ran a nice play. I think they threw it to the inside. As soon as that cat, they collapsed on him, he found the open man, kicked it out to the three-point line. Homie squared up, had a nice open look, had a defender come towards him. He avoided the foul, but put a hand in his face. And he hit a clutch-ass three-pointer that put them up by 1 point. 6 or so seconds left. No, maybe even 3 seconds, dude. 4 seconds. Not that much time left. 3 seconds, 3.9. Maryland gets the ball. And I only know this because I watched the game and caught the ending. 24, who I didn't know was a freshman. Coach asked who wants the ball. He said, I want the motherfucking ball, or give me the motherfucking ball. This man is a power forward or a center. Has handles. Top of the key. He gets the ball at the top of the key. Takes his man to the left of the rim. Nice fadeaway. High arcing shot. Defender with great position. Great job of challenging the shot. He softly puts it up purposely off the glass. Game winner. And he calmly turns around and does a nice flex. Calmly turns around with a flex like, motherfucker, I told you. That was a cold-ass shot. That was a hard shot. Bro went to the left as a big man. Got just enough separation. And unlike Jokic, he did not take his off arm and push the fucking defender away. He actually played basketball. No off arm pushes like the Euros have to do. He went to the left without shoving the fucking defender away. Step back, fade away, softly off the glass on purpose. Game winner. Maryland advances off of the shot from the freshman. Hell of a shot, hell of an ending. Did not watch the whole game, not going to pretend like I did, but I saw that ending. We went from a three-pointer on the other side, clutch-ass shot, to a stone-cold clutch moment for a freshman at Maryland. Nice shot, young man. Nice game all the way around. And as an observer and a casual fan, I enjoyed that one. Nice win for Maryland. Hell of a shot by that freshman. Hell of a shot with a hand in his face. No foul from the defender. No push off from him. Just nice, clean basketball, one-on-one, top of the key, fade away. Soft touch off the glass. Soft touch off the glass. Nice win for Maryland. That was a nice game. Now let's get into Arkansas and St. John's. Calipari and Pitino. The Pitino impregnating a waitress under a table in less than 10 seconds. Excuse me. Libations. Should have hit the mute. And yes, that's grape juice. Now, they didn't rehash all of his incidents from the past, which, doesn't happen to them, but they didn't talk about him impregnating the waitress under a table in less than 10 seconds, threatening her with semen shoes if she didn't get rid of the child, and eventually getting her arrested for blackmail. But they did talk about Pitino Calipari throughout the game. I was more interested in the players in the game itself. I was impressed with Arkansas because they played smart basketball, and I guess that's what I liked. mid-range shots. I liked Brazil. I don't know if that's a proper way to pronounce his name, but I loved his hustle out there. Rebounding, spacing the floor. I love the way he played. I like a good rebounder like that, a low post player. And I didn't see a lot of ill-advised shots from Arkansas. They shoot threes like anybody else, but I didn't see a lot of dumbass three-pointers. I saw some mid-range shots. I saw people coming off the top of the key taking shots. They weren't afraid or against working the ball inside. So with no knowledge of the teams and no rooting interest, I found myself rooting for Arkansas just because I like the way that they played ball. But overall, this was actually a pretty good basketball game. I enjoyed it. Arkansas pulling it out in the end, just having people making clutch shots. But I enjoyed the way that Arkansas played ball as they defeated St. John's 75-66. And Calipari wins again the highly promoted battle against him and Pitino as head coaches. But Arkansas advances 75-66 against St. John's. Nice game, though. It was a good game. Nice ball played both ways. And I just kind of liked the way that Arkansas was playing basketball. It's you can win playing that style of basketball. They're not going to be a hit or miss team if they play that style of basketball. They should be able to compete in any game if they play the way that I saw them play against St. John's. And again, this is without me knowing what they've been doing all year. I have no idea. I'll be honest, Duke and Baylor, I saw them get a few calls in the beginning that were just egregious. I just turned because I knew Baylor didn't have a chance after that. The whistle just kept blowing. And again, to me, I've seen a lot of – I'm just telling you what I've seen. I've seen a lot of the Lighter Hugh getting a lot of flop calls and jumping into people calls. Purdue especially, Purdue was very – it was hard. I hated watching Purdue play. It was just a lot of flopping. That fucking guard or whoever he is, the only thing he was doing was flopping. He couldn't guard that person in front of him, and he kept jumping in front of him and jumping on the ground, and they kept giving him that bullshit call. I don't agree with giving people that call, jumping in front of people, especially when they do not have the ability to guard that person at all. And you're giving them a bailout. It's like putting up the rails when you're bowling. You're giving help to people that need it. And I see that shit constantly. It's annoying. Purdue beat McNeese State, but again, to me, McNeese State got whistle whooped like a motherfucker to me. But that's just me. Purdue's a solid team with a lot of people that flop, especially that bitch-ass point guard, and a lot of people getting a lot of calls. But, okay, that game against McNeese State in particular, I hated the officiating. I thought that was a poorly officiated game. Because I saw that no-count dude get fouls on somebody that was having a good game that he couldn't guard, that he just kept jumping in front of while still moving, hasn't set his feet, not attempting to play any defense whatsoever, just attempting to jump on the ground. And that shit is allowed by some officials. That's annoying as hell. I hate that shit. Houston taking on Gonzaga. This was a good game, a nice back and forth. Houston didn't pull this out until the end. I like Houston because of Kelvin Sampson, and I noticed them just by observation. A lot of people on that team were on that team last year. So they have a lot of people returning, obviously. So for some coaches and some teams, they're able to retain players and excuse me. They're able to retain players and keep some type of nucleus. So as much as the portal hurts, some players, some teams, some coaches manage to get the type of players or the type of situation where they can keep people. Because I saw at least 3 or 4 key players for Houston that I remember seeing in the tournament last year. With all that being said, and I'll say this from an observational standpoint, I've never seen, and maybe it's been recent years, and maybe last year was like this, maybe for the last 3 years, but man, Gonzaga sure looks different. They've always had a couple of ninjas, but Gonzaga has so many ninjas on that team now. That's a different look from them from what I remember about Gonzaga once they first started getting into the national picture as far as the basketball tournament. But Gonzaga definitely has changed their look. Solid game, nice little back and forth. Houston, I felt, Made a couple of mistakes here and there that kind of kept Gonzaga in it. Houston, I have them winning the whole thing, mainly because of the team itself. The way when I did see them play, they were playing the same type of ball I saw them last year, which means they have a system. I actually didn't realize at the time that they had so many returning players, but that was good as well. But there's a couple of things on the tournament. Oh, one more thing. Tennessee defeating UCLA 67-58. These are the novice picks that I have, the same picks that everybody else has. But pretty much handling UCLA. And the was it one more game? What was the other game? Not that one. Watch another one. Double checking and making sure. Didn't watch that. Didn't want to see all them damn whistles. Arizona, Oregon was a competitive game as well, but I was spot watching that game. Wisconsin, BYU was close, but I did not see that one, so I missed that great finish. That's one of the games I was flipping back and forth from. I haven't bothered to go back to YouTube because I just don't care that much. Just going to be honest. This is the Underground Railroad Show with your boy, That Ninja. That is the extent of my round ball talk. We'll get into the chat room, and then I'll jump into some select NFL and college teams, I believe. Where we sitting on? Yeah, I still got time for that. Where we at? Sidney Jackson said, what's worse than filling out a fucking bracket is filling out two fucking brackets, which is where I am now. Hey, sir, I filled out two last year, and they both were terrible. One of them at least held on long enough for me to lie to myself and feel like I was involved when I was just a spectator and a donator. Nothing more than a spectator and a donator, sir. Now, in this situation with me not having real knowledge of college basketball, I had no expectations of doing well, even though, that almost has nothing to do with the brackets, but I had no knowledge whatsoever. If I had at least watched all year, it had some semblance of who teams were, and I could name players that I thought were clutch and coaches that I thought were good, I could go into that with confidence. But I'm literally just going chalk because I don't know anything else. I can't have a feeling about a team. I'm not knowledgeable about the team. What feeling can I have? Can't have a damn feeling. So, yeah, I had low expectations, sir, but Jesus, they didn't have to be this bad. I mean, low expectations, but man, my bracket, there's nothing. Boy, that's an ugly bracket. That's an ugly-ass bracket. Ugly-ass bracket. Sluggo said, with as many threes as Alabama shoots, I'd imagine they shoot quite a bit of transition threes. Man, that fast break 3-point shit, man, every time I see that, because of childhood trauma, the only thing that pops in my head is suicides. I'll never forget when I was introduced to suicides. Touching every damn line, here to here. That man didn't miss a line, and we didn't run suicides the whole fucking court. Not no sideways shit, not to half court, the whole damn court. Suicides. 11 and 12. Coach used to run the dog shit out of running us like we're going to the fucking Olympics. Man, suicide suck. But that's all I can think about when I see people pull up and shoot three-pointers on a fast break that they could have had a dunk or a layup on. I have a suicide flashback and a bead of sweat comes off my forehead. Like, these motherfuckers are breaking all the rules. Suggo said Nick started off strong but then fizzled out. Did I fizzle? Hold on a second. Where are we at here? JBJ said Ninja breaking down round ball.
That's why I know there's a God. That's why I know there's a God.
JBJ said Ninja breaking down round ball.
God damn anybody who doesn't glorify his work. God damn anybody who doesn't glorify his work.
Sluggo said, I've been in and out, and I have missed a lot of games. But Duke is either getting all the calls or they're balling. Duke is another team that I've always hated, and again, I don't have a reason. I've never liked Florida. I've never liked Duke. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not really interested in watching them, to be honest with you. So when they're playing somebody that I like, I'll probably sit down. But when there are other options, I don't give a fuck about Duke being on. If there's another game on and Duke's playing, let me find something else to watch. Especially when I start and I see 3 or 4 bullshit calls, I just turn. I'm like, well, I see what this is about to be. I'm good. Just like Houston having to go basically in Purdue's backyard to play Purdue when they're a number 1 seed. Shit like that. But, yeah, sir. Yeah, just a couple of thoughts on round ball. Sluggo said, I read that one, my bad. Where we at? Sluggo said, Memphis let me down. I should have factored in injury. Again, I picked them, but I have no knowledge. So what can I say? And I didn't realize they had key injuries. But when Memphis lost, I was like, I didn't think they should have lost to that team. But yeah, Memphis lost as well. Sluggo said, I have a negative bias towards Purdue, which is why I had them getting beat in the first round. That might might cost me in the end if Houston actually pulls it off. That's hysterical. Sir, Houston's going to have to fight the refs. Hopefully not, but when a team has that makeup, you don't want to play around with officials and them supposed to, call the game right. They seem to think when those people go in and throw their head up and jump on the ground and scream, the whistle seems to blow every time. So that's going to be Houston's main obstacle. I think they're a better team than Purdue. But I think Purdue has somebody that's going to be jumping in front of people and hoping he gets the calls like I saw him getting that last game. Jumping in front of people that he could not guard. I have zero ability to guard you, but watch this. Whistle, whistle. And he's fired up and pumped up like he did something. That is the most hoe-ass shit. And it's just it's one thing to charge somebody. It's another thing to, I'm not trying to actually play defense. I'm not trying to guard you. I'm not trying to strip the ball. I'm not trying to block a shot. I'm trying to catch a side and make it look like you ran me over. Once again, teams that do that, I hope they lose severely. Sluggo said, preach, hashtag the power of editing. It's strong. It's strong. What I always try to say about editing, and again, if you're not careful with editing,
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
as Sluggo said,
Amen, preacher.
as I said about like editing, okay, just put it in perspective. Let's say you're 40 years old. You've been in the world for a while. So in your 40 years, within your 40 years of living, is there a 10 to 30 second clip that somebody could find that would not be the best look for you? The point of that is that you have so many things you have a lot of things that happen within the framework of your life. A lot of things that define who you are. And to think you know somebody because they edit a clip that's less than 60 seconds, it always baffles me how often the same people, quite frankly, the same people that put this piece of shit in office are the same people telling you this is a bad person based on this clip that I edited down. This clip is this is who this person is. Fuck how long they've been alive, everything they've done. This edited clip is who they are because I say so. That's just always been stupid. And the point of that is in an interview, You have all types of questions. They take something, move it out of context. I know for a fact when the ex-Miami player got fired because there was a brawl on the field, and he was talking about, man, I want to go down there and get in that. You know, he said he was just speaking about the brawl. He was being honest about it. Sports Center chopped it up, moved one part here to make it sound worse. They literally took something he said here, put it over here, moved this over there, moved that over there to make it sound as bad as possible, and kept playing it over and over again. He eventually lost his job. This is the same network that didn't feel the need to cover Porzingis raping a black woman. When they talk about him, they just say everybody that talks about him, everybody, all of y'all. The only thing I ever hear is, maybe with one or two exceptions, the only thing I ever hear is, you know, he's playing good ball now. But you have, okay, at any rate, Deshaun Watson jokes, but an actual rapist punching a woman while raping her and calling her a nigga. Never lost a game, never got any coverage. Must be nice. What the hell was I talking about before I went on that rant? Where was I at? But yeah, I don't know why I was ranting or where I was at. Power of editing. Oh, just talking about editing. But again, in the course of a whole interview, they just chop up a clip. Again, with Bill Cosby. They took something out of context, didn't give you the prefix, the suffix, didn't let you see the whole document. They took one part of it and put it out in the world. And it was illegal to do so. And again, the same people that never convict white people of anything are shitting on a black icon, and everybody just took their word on it. To me, that makes you fucking stupid. Recognize the enemy, man. That man has done too much for me to shit on him on the word of people that never hold people that look like them accountable for anything. Never. I've watched multiple white rapists, Roethlisberger. Get a complete and total skate. Nothing happens. Nothing said. But in this situation, it's just, it's hard to take seriously. When a group of people does that, when they do that, how the hell can you then turn around and see it in one instance, but you can't see it in another, and somehow they have credibility? I don't get it. But the power of editing is strong. I still remember that. So they edit something. Okay, Peyton Manning raped a woman in college. Dr. Jamie Nogwright, he put his dick and balls on her face. He later said he was just trying to moon a teammate and it was an accident. So you think about the physics of that. I was trying to moon a teammate, and that's how I accidentally set my dick and balls on a woman's face, a doctor's face, who's trying to help players and help me. They claim they love women. That story was out before he was drafted. That woman went on TV on a national it was Nightline or some shit like that. The next day, you know how many people on sports radio talked about it? Not a goddamn one. But the same people that didn't talk about that shitted on Bill Cosby on the word of the same people that ignored what Peyton Manning did. I just don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't understand why they have credibility when all they do is shit on us. But again, Dr. Jamie Nogwright. I'm not making nothing up. Look her name up and tell me what it says. So a group of people that never see anything. If you care about women, you care about them in all instances. So when they actually bring it up, it tells me they must be just trying to hurt the person they're talking about. Because the instances I'm talking about, they're not speculation. Most of the stuff with most of the ninjas is all speculation and maybe, but there's really no proof. The situations with these other cats, it happened. There's no fucking ifs, ands, or buts about it. And there's no coverage. I got to watch that waterhead rapist motherfucker on TV every minute of every fucking day. But the same people that promote him shit on every ninja, and other black people just do it right along with him laughing. It's just weird to me. It's weird as hell to me, but I digress. Where am I at? A ninja would be in foul trouble in the first quarter if he pushed folks around like that. Yeah, facts. Like, I'm not really exaggerating with that. Literally just pushing people off. I'm like, so this is the great center everybody's talking about? It's not hard to be great if you're pushing people out the way. Sluggo said both teams hit big shots, but the kid from Maryland had the last laugh. Yeah, that three-pointer was clutch from Colorado State, but that was a sweet shot from homie. Nice kiss off the glass, too. Sluggo said, really good defense, but better offense. Agreed. JBJ said, faggoty blue. Hey, man, the ABM made that funny, man. What else can I say? ABM really made that funny. I'd never heard the term faggoty blue before, to be honest with you. Once ABM said it, man, I was crying laughing. I couldn't wait for the opportunity to say that. So every time I get a chance, I bring that up. But that's always going to be funny to me, sir. That's always going to be funny to me. Faggoty blue is hysterical. Always going to be hysterical, sir. But the tournament's been cool, despite my bracket being garbage. But I hope everybody appreciates my donation as I sit near the bottom of the bottom of the bracket. I almost did 2 sheets. I should have done 2. So I could have had 2 sheets near the bottom of the bracket. It makes no sense that I have a bracket with all that red on it. I'm just look at who's at the top of this. I'm not going to talk about this shit like people do fantasy, but I just took a glance because I haven't been looking at it because I'm doing so terrible. Look at this. Oh, that's bad off. That's ugly. That's ugly. Oh, well. It is what it is. But it is still fun, despite the fact that obviously I'm terrible at this. God almighty. Would have liked to have competed just a little bit longer. But looking at what I got, there wasn't a lot of competing involved. Give me as I'm checking the time. Let's see. Cows or a little bit of football. Let's get into just got time for a little bit of football review. We got time for that. JBJ said, faggoty blue.
You disloyal, fool-ass, bitch-made punk.
I'm just, sir, I didn't create that term, but it is funny.
Disloyal, fool-ass, bitch-made punk.
In the NFL, the last team I dropped off was the Giants. Quick recap on the Steelers, which I have talked about. Sluggo said Nick might pick the winning team and still finish dead last. I might. I mean, all of my what is it called? All of my division winners are still there. All of my regional winners, they're still there. I still got all of them. But I mean, everybody has the same regional winners for the most part. I still got those, but all those other arbitrary ass games, man, nothing. All them other arbitrary ass games, nothing at all. Let's go here. Pittsburgh Steelers, which I have discussed because of some of the moves that they've made, but just a end of the year review. I felt like Justin Fields did enough to kind of keep the job. I wasn't mad at Russell Wilson because he's one of the best quarterbacks that have come through the league. But once it was obvious that he didn't have his full mobility, I felt Fields could throw the ball just as well as him, but he added that extra dimension. So I just didn't understand not using him. And even more so, not making him a priority in the offseason. It's not like the Jets broke the bank. To not be willing to match that was interesting. Now, I will say that I've heard that they're looking at Jalen Milroe. That wouldn't make up for it completely because Fields is already established. I can see wanting to bring somebody in, and if they did that, it would show that they're actually trying to bring somebody in that has a chance to make a difference on the team. But not keeping Fields makes no sense to me. Now, looking at the draft, and again, we have the draft show coming up. Looking at it, it's possible that he could end up there, especially with how he's being evaluated, which is nothing new. He could very well be there when Pittsburgh comes up on the board. And I wouldn't be mad at that pick, but there are very few things that can happen within the course of Pittsburgh and the offseason and the draft, whatever they do, free agency. I don't know if there's anything they can do to make me say, I understand letting Fields go. I don't get it. They didn't keep Fields. They didn't keep Wilson. Neither one of those moves makes any sense, especially considering the team's really in good shape. So why would you want to start all over with somebody who I think can play and is going to be beneficial? But why start all over when you had somebody there that the team approved of? It just didn't make sense. Who in the organization didn't want that ninja? But point being, don't blow this opportunity. Y'all have a chance to be pretty good. Metcalf is not a small pickup. That's huge, especially when you have another quality receiver in Pickens and a number 2 that stepped up whose name I can't remember. And again, now your 3 is your 2. Now your 1 is your 2. Your 2 is your 3. It improves the receiving core all the way around. You already have a solid defense, well coached. I just don't understand why you didn't keep that dynamic quarterback that showed you what he could do. And if at one point they bring in another elderly Caucasian like an Aaron Rodgers, but you let Fields walk and you give him any type of decent money, a la the Atlanta Falcons and Cousins, man, I just don't understand it. But we'll see. But I'm very confused about what they're doing at quarterback. Baltimore Ravens. Great season. Lamar Jackson robbed of an MVP. Didn't seal the deal. Didn't finish the deal. Because they're available, I will continue to try to boost up or bolster the receiving core. I would make sure that there's a lot of Isaiah Likely in the game plan next year. I would take advantage of this window I have with a Derrick Henry. But I would improve the receiving core even more because it's available. There are draft picks and free agents. I like the Hopkins pickup. And with other free agents and draft picks, you can pick up quality receivers with the proper scouting. It's not like you didn't have he had an MVP fucking year. Obviously, your room was productive, but it can be improved even more. With Baltimore, really and truly, it's just a matter of winning a game here or there. It's the playoff game, and it's just football. But I look for my low points, my weak points. I make sure I have a good line blocking for my running back and my quarterback. I bolster the receiving core just because I can. The availability and the desire of certain people to play for your team, even if it's on a 1 or 2 year contract. And look to fill in defensively some of the things that you lost. But Baltimore improved throughout the course of the year, got better defensively because they lost some key elements. But they got better throughout the course of the year, and you have a chance to pick up free agents and draft players. So Baltimore, what you want to do is just improve an already good team, a team that was good enough to win it all. Pick up some more pieces, prepare to play again next year. Ooh-wee. Why do I have them written down? The Cleveland Browns, you have to fix your offensive line. The Cleveland Browns have to fix their offensive line. I'm not sure what they're doing at. The last person they picked up, I was just shaking my head. I'm trying to remember who it was, but the pickup didn't make sense. But it's somebody of the lighter hue, so 1,000% guaranteed, no matter what, they're going to be promoting that he should be the starter. I can't remember who it is, but it might be Kenny Pickett, which makes no sense at all. But they're going to promote somebody in Kenny Pickett that's never done anything in this league to be the starter for Cleveland. What Cleveland needs to do is study that line add another weapon or two, and tool back up with Deshaun Watson. I still believe in Watson, and I need to see him stand behind the line where he's not running for his life, which is what he's been doing the last 2 years, on top of bad luck. So I look for them to improve the line. Continue with Watson, add some pieces. and try to do something other than last year. I didn't see that shitty season coming last year. That was garbage. I think they can improve upon that, but you have to protect your quarterback. And you're going to have to do so because they're definitely allowing late hits on him. You have to protect your quarterback. Priority one for Cleveland. Houston Texans. Same thing offensive line-wise. The Texans let go of Laramie Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in the league. I don't understand. Because they had a hard time last year blocking for C.J. Stroud, and that was one of their issues that they improved on during the playoffs, but they had issues with that all year, keeping him clean. Against teams with decent defenses and pass rushes, he was under duress. He had to run and move around a lot, and a lot of times he was sacked and wasn't able to stand in there and make the play because he was under duress. And one of the things they've done to improve that is let go of one of the best left tackles in the league. Again, confusing to me, but the Texans must tighten that line up, continue to give that man weapons, because the defense was really playing good ball last year. So I'm quite confident D'Amico Ryans will do whatever's necessary to continue to keep his defense viable. He has to protect his quarterback. He has to protect C.J. Stroud. They made the playoffs C.J. Stroud's first 2 years, and last year, quite frankly, they got fucked without any Vaseline against Kansas City. So the Texans are right there. They've won their division, I believe, 2 years straight. But you have to protect your franchise quarterback. A lot of hard luck this year, losing receivers. They lost Diggs. They had a teammate go after a football that wasn't his, and that's what really tore up Tank Dale's knee. I was watching him when he did it. The ball was going to Dale. He ran over there, jumped low, and basically destroyed that man's knee. That's really what happened, if y'all want to know the truth about it. That's the reason why his leg couldn't go any further, and he really got fucked up, is his teammate going to get a football that wasn't his. Somebody that just came up from the practice squad, as a matter of fact. That was quite unfortunate. But a lot of hard luck. You lost Diggs and Tank Dale. But again, the year before that, that man lost about 3 or 4 receivers. It was the same thing. So the first 2 years of Stroud's career, the second year, the line could have been a lot better. But both years, he's lost a minimum of 2 key receivers. Honestly, I think he's lost at least 3 key receivers every year. But I know he's lost 2 every year. That's guaranteed. 2 of his top receivers he's lost every damn year. And I think as many as 3. So that's just hard luck from an offensive standpoint. But again, that wasn't what held them back against Kansas City this past season. But protect your quarterback and get depth at receiver, because obviously you need it. And with Mixon adding the dimension that he adds, the Texans are going to continue to be viable next year. The Colts, don't give up on your damn quarterback. I don't know how true the reports are, but allegedly via reports, the quarterback competition is open, or it's open, or it's not guaranteed that Richardson will be the starter. Okay, if that's the route you want to go, it's interesting you have this quick trigger injury in his first year. Pretty good this past year. Still made some bad throws, still developing. I think maybe at this point he's played 16 games, but no reason to cut bait, no reason to overreact at this point in his career. And the issues that you have had have not been due to him, maybe due to him being injured and not being on the field. But I don't think that Anthony Richardson has cost Indianapolis any games. Continue to build around him, allow him to develop like every other fucking quarterback gets a chance to do, and you'll be fine. Quarterback is not your issue. You said at running back, you have your quarterback of the future. Your defense has always been decent and on the other side of average as far as the league, as far as being in the top 10 of the league. The Colts don't need to do anything drastic. They need to stick with their quarterback, continue to get him weapons, and put him in a position to succeed. And one way to do that is to run him less, but again, still take advantage of the player that he is. And again, this goes to training, diet, the type of exercises you have him do to stay healthy. There are a lot of things you can do as a franchise to help. But the last thing in the world you need to do is give up on that man that's already showed so much promise. Coming into his 3rd year with only maybe a season and a quarter worth of games under his belt. Calm down, pump your brakes, relax. The Kansas City Chiefs. You need to do a better job of protecting one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the league already. At this point in his career, he's already that. How can he be that type of QB and you have such a disregard for his protection? Now, a lot of that was the brilliance of the Philadelphia Eagles defense, but two things. One, you never should have let Eric Bieniemy leave. They've won Super Bowls since then, but their offense has not been as potent and their offense has not been as productive since he's been gone. It's went down every single year. And it caught up with him this year on top of a lack of protection. Seemingly have a lot of good players. They got him back at the right time towards the end of the season, but the end game transition, the ability to change things on the fly, the adjustments that were seamless when Eric Bieniemy was there because he was a top-tier coach. He should have been a head coach, and they were allowed to keep a nucleus that should have been broken up years ago because of the short-sightedness of the league and not hiring him in the first place. You have to improve from a game plan aspect, and that means either getting a new OC or tightening up the OC that you have, and you have to protect your franchise quarterback. Priority one for Kansas City, who already has a top-tier defense. I did not know that. Sluggo said, did Diggs get let go? So Diggs is a free agent. Wow. I didn't know that. So he hurt his knee and they didn't bother. They're not going to bring him. That's fucked up. That was just unfortunate. That was just really bad luck, man. That was really hard luck. Looking at where I'm at, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on the Cow Award, sir. I want to make sure everybody has to deal with the stupidity of this shit along with me. I'm surprised they didn't bring him back. But honestly, the Texans honestly either should be grooming the receivers that they have or really looking to bring in some more. Because they just have really bad luck when it comes to the receiver position. They have terrible luck. At the receiver position, they have terrible luck. I got you, Sluggo. I got you. But they've had terrible luck at the receiver position. I definitely bolster that position because every time I turn around, man, they 3 every year. And yet they still made the playoffs. So looking forward to the rest of March Madness. Thursday and Friday, I believe we got the games coming up. I'll tell you what. I'll do a quick run through of these college teams so I can get through my football review. Then I'm going to get on out of here. I'm going to pull this train into the station. So let's go here. We got let's go here. Let's start with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, the main thing or the important thing that happened during the offseason is that Coach DeBoer got his OC back. I don't know what they offered him because from what I understand, secondhand information, his wife was not impressed with living in Alabama and wanted to stay in the Northeast. Perhaps his family's going to stay up there. Perhaps they've changed their mind. I don't know. But the OC, the killer combination that was there with DeBoer at Washington with Michael Penix, he's now going to have his OC, and I think that really makes a difference. It's not like Alabama had a terrible season last year, but they definitely didn't move offensively like I thought they would because they didn't have the same coordinator. So those two being back together is huge for Alabama, especially if they make the right decision at quarterback. So I'm looking forward to seeing the difference in the way the offense moves and the way that they adjust now that he has his OC back. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Sluggo said, Diggs is visiting New England. Doesn't sound like a smart move to me. Man, I would not go there if I was him. New England. I wouldn't do that. Because Vrabel's the coach, and no matter what, he's going to start another terrible pick in the first round for New England. What's his name? Drake May. It doesn't matter what he does. Drake May is going to be playing. So I don't think you want Drake May as a quarterback. Diggs, if I'm him, I'm trying to go to a more ideal situation, which exists. It exists. You just have to find the right spot. If I'm Diggs, not anymore, not at this point, not them. Washington is viable if I'm Diggs. Atlanta wouldn't be out of the picture. You can make that happen in a 1 or 2 year deal. Going through it in my head, Arizona's a possibility. The New York Jets with their new quarterback, Justin Fields. That would be nice. If you had Wilson and Diggs along with the current company at receiver. But I would definitely go somewhere where I think I'm going to compete. Where I think I have a real chance to compete. Sidney Jackson said, Bama hasn't protected a quarterback since Mac Jones. Their O-line play has been bad for a while. That was the other thing is Milroe was running for his life a lot. When he had time to set his feet and throw, he was fine, but that didn't happen a lot. The line was kind of shitty last year. But Sidney, that's a great point that a lot of people might not have noticed. But you're right, that line has been a tad bit shaky, but they've had quarterbacks that could buy time and make plays with their ability. But yeah, since the very, very overrated Mac Jones, that line has been a little suspect with their protection. So, great point. Now, I know the jokes that some had, but Arkansas. I'm looking forward to seeing Arkansas next year. Arkansas, I felt in Alabama, they had an okay year, could have protected their quarterback more, underachieved to a degree in the sense of game plan and adjustment. I expected so much more from DeBoer because I saw it at Washington. Again, hence my excitement that he's getting his OC back, and that should bode well for Alabama. And since Arkansas, head coach that must have pictures of the president doing strange things with animals because I don't know how you're still there. But let me say this. Get out the way. Stop holding back the offense, telling them to do that old school conservative shit. Let Petrino let the offense loose along with the quarterback Green, and y'all can be quite viable in the national picture, especially with the playoff system now. They're going to have a lot of people coming back. You got the quarterback coming back. They have a chance to really be something next year. They had a chance last year, quite frankly, but if the head coach gets out the way, that's the key for Arkansas. Head coach has to get out the way and stop trying to dictate the type of offense that they run. He's the type of coach that if he gets 21 points, from there on out, he wants to try to kill the clock. He doesn't want to be aggressive. He doesn't want to take chances. He wants to lean on the defense. We got enough points. You've done your job. And that's the problem with him. He cost them quite a few games with that. I even heard him say after one of the games, I have to kind of just let, him call the offense the way he wants, even though it's not the way that I would go about it. He admitted as much, and he really held the team back. If he stops doing that, Arkansas has a chance to be a problem for everybody that they play. But that's a big if. South Carolina, an embarrassment of riches at the quarterback position. Aaron Nolan now attends. They have a killer freshman that had a great season. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think Aaron Nolan is a monster. But the sweat equity that freshman has with that team, how can it be ignored? I'm frustrated because I didn't want Aaron Nolan to go somewhere where he wasn't going to get an opportunity to play, and this appears to be a place where he's not going to get an opportunity to play. I don't get it. But South Carolina quietly was one of the best teams in the SEC last year. I think they would have raised hell in the tournament, much more viable than in Indiana in my humble opinion. Or Notre Dame. I know what they did and where they went, but Notre Dame was not a better team than South Carolina was last year. So they're going to be viable. They shouldn't sneak up on anybody. But with that freshman having another year with a guy like Aaron Nolan there, which again, I don't understand it. I want him to go somewhere where he can play. But South Carolina's going to be a good team. Solid year. Screwed by the refs in a couple of games, quite frankly. The bowl game as well. Having to deal with unnecessary obstacles. But what was that game where it was obvious? I think the Florida game was a game where that was like the only game you could say they played where they didn't have their best effort. But outside of that, they got cheated against LSU. Every other game they competed in and they were right there and won it for the most part. South Carolina's a very good team last year. I think they'll be good next year as well. And they got a lot of people coming back. Mainly that quarterback. Damn it, Aaron Nolan, why did you go back there? I read that one. I'm sorry. Florida. Florida has DJ Lagway, who should be the undisputed starter next year. And if he is, that's going to make a difference for that team. Lagway is a difference maker at the quarterback position, but I'm not 100% sure on how I feel about the coach. So for me next year, I'm looking forward to seeing Lagway being the starter for an entire season, an entire all season, and a coach trusting him to let the ball fly as much as you did with the other cat that I felt was subpar. So I look for Florida to start Lagway, no questions, and to let the offense and to open up the offense and let him play. So hopefully that's what I'll see with Florida next year, which I think will make them an exciting team, fun to watch, and possibly viable, even though they still have one hell of a schedule. Tennessee, brisket salesman coach. I need you to decide, are you a football coach or are you a brisket salesman? Hey, listen up, goddammit. I got the best brisket in the state. And that's good. But your team has so much potential, and you always fall short in big games due to a conservative game plan and or a lack of game plan, a lack of adjustment. And this was on full display when you played the Ohio State University and got Sandusky'd all over the field. Tennessee has so much potential, and the brisket salesman continues to get away with underachieving game plans when it comes to playing top-tier competition. He continues to do this. Hopefully he learns his lesson. If not, I don't know, perhaps a guy that won a national championship at your school, like a T. Martin, could get an opportunity to coach. It's interesting you'll bring in a quarterback from Oklahoma, but the quarterback that won a title for your school and that is in coaching can't get a look with his alma mater. Ain't that a bitch?
Who raised you?
The Ohio State University. Being serious here, I don't like what we're doing at quarterback, but nothing I can do. With all of that being said, won a national championship playing the best ball at the right time of year. Adjustments were made that weren't made for an entire season during the playoffs, so that was a great thing. But Ohio State has a chance to 1,000% be better on offense than we were last year. We were average because of average game plan and average quarterback play. If we start the year with a better game plan from our recently promoted wide receiver coach Brian Hardline, if we come with a viable game plan and we put the right person at the position, we can really get some things done on the offensive end. We easily have a chance to be better offensively this coming up season than we were last year because Chip Kelly was underwhelming, very underwhelming. Oregon, I know that coach just got some more money, but Dan Lanning does a lot of stupid shit on the football field. Undefeated season, dropping off in the playoffs, taking a nice ass whooping from Ohio State. Going forward on fourth down on multiple occasions for the last 2 seasons and having a terrible percentage at it, but continuing to do so for some strange reason. Oregon's going to have the talent and the resources and the coverage, but Dan Lanning has to not coach them out of the game, and personally, I think he's done that for the last 2 seasons. But we shall see. what Oregon will be next year with Dan Lanning's true recruiting class and people having some tape on him, his teams, and their tendencies as far as his coaching. And last but not least, Colorado, coached by primetime Deion Sanders. I'm interested in seeing who they have at quarterback. I'm interested in seeing the type of game plan. I'm interested in seeing how they protect said quarterback. I'm interested in seeing the team post the Sanders kids. I'm interested in seeing that. Do you put that monster that y'all ended up getting at your school? Is he going to be a quarterback? Do you continue to replenish the receiving core? Is your offense going to be an aggressive one? Are you going to attempt to have more balance? What is Colorado going to be losing significant players and losing the offspring of the head coach, Deion Sanders? Looking forward to seeing that, seeing even more improvement from Colorado, which they've done every year, and seeing the impact of a Marshall Faulk as a running backs coach. Because halfway through the season, I saw the impact of a Warren Sapp coaching the defensive line when I saw one of their linemen make a move that I 1,000% remember watching Warren Sapp do on multiple occasions. So I'm looking forward to seeing the team and how they continue to evolve and improve and how viable they're going to be in the national picture next year, because the playoffs, I'm sure, are part of his are on the horizon or in his plans for the future as a head coach at Colorado. So looking forward to seeing these teams next year. And those are the things that I'm looking forward to seeing about them as far as college football. CZ Underground Railroad Show, hosted by your boy, That Ninja, getting ready to pull the train into the station. Sluggo said, Florida's coach survived another year. It should have get off the pot time for him. Definitely. That's why I think he should go all in on DJ Lagway. I think he should go all in on DJ Lagway and allow him to actually run the offense as aggressively as he was the other guy with the skill set that I believe is not as high. But, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the back and forth. As always, I consider the back and forth to be therapeutic, which makes all of you my de facto therapists. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for the session. Abbreviated intro this evening. But before I get out, I will say, RIP DT. Pops taught me to think of all I speak, but do not speak all I think. Simply put, that means that sometimes you either need to shut the fuck up or at least think about what it is you're about to say and who you're about to say it to. Also, Pop taught me how to be a man. I appreciate that. And I wish I would have told you how much I appreciated you more when you were here, sir. RIP DT. And as always, I take a shot for Pop. RIP DT. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for the back and forth. Shortened and abbreviated outro. I'm not going to promise a bonus show because I've said that for the last 2 weeks and I haven't given you one. So what I will say is Thursday, in that open spot that should be covered by Tyrone, is when I plan on doing it, but I cannot guarantee it. But Thursday afternoon, look for me, but I'm not going to give you any promises because something's come up the last 2 weeks and something might come up again. Oh, side note for those that have asked, Mom's is doing fine. She's healing up nicely. She's hard-headed and doesn't, she might be listening, but Mom is very active, so she doesn't necessarily want to sit still. And she's doing what she has to do right now, but I know at one point an active woman like that just hates not moving. But thank everybody that's been asking. She's doing well and recovering and healing. So thank everybody for that. Look, man, I appreciate y'all. As always, take care. I will see y'all, I believe, Thursday afternoon. But until then, y'all take care and be easy.